Game 1 of round 2, one day out. Tomorrow, face-off set for 7 o'clock at KeyBank Center. Head coach Lindy Ruff addressed the media yesterday with an update on forward Sam Carrick, saying he's further along than he originally believed and that Carrick might be able to join the Sabres at practice today. For more information, Paul Hamilton has a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. And Lindy Ruff will join Jeremy White coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin is one of the 3 finalists for the Bill Masterson Trophy, the player that best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey as well. Carolina beat the Flyers 3-2 in overtime. They hold a 2-0 series lead. And Vegas beat Anaheim 3-1. They lead their series 1-0. Sal Capaccio continuing his State of the Bills series at our website, WGR550.com. The wide receivers are the latest position group up. Around the NFL, the Packers, they signed quarterback Tyrod Taylor, formerly of the Jets. Baltimore, they're signing Skylar Thompson, making that 5 quarterbacks on the roster. And Texans CEO Cal McNair said the Texans are, quote, fully committed to C.J. Stroud. You can catch every take, every reaction, every big Buffalo sports moment live now on YouTube with Jeremy and Joe in the morning and Shope and the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Hey, everybody. I don't know if Joe Brady's a 365er. I've received some reports here and there. He might be like a 340 kind of guy.
It seems a little fraudulent.
Well, I want to go full fraudulent. I just, people, when you claim to be a 365er, people are going to come for you and, like, they see you somewhere, coach's picture, coach's
Receipts.
picture, wearing pants.
There's receipts.
Right.
Maybe you feel like you're supposed to. All right, it's fine.
There was a pair of shorts in that picture, I think I saw.
I think so, too. Yeah. Now,
He had a good day at that picture, though. He looked big and good. I think people were impressed by his stature.
They were impressed by the quote-unquote frame mogging.
Yes.
That's what everyone was calling it.
You guys, mogging. Yes, I've learned this term, this mogging term.
Mogging has entered the AM radio.
The lexicon. Yeah. This is one of those things where, like, I think I know what it means, but don't ask me to tell you what it means. I think it means, like, you're taking over.
Kind of, yeah.
Right? Similar, yeah.
Dominating, aura-related.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe.
like he's got
aura-related domination of a picture.
Yes.
Fine.
Put that in the dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
Aura-related taking over of a picture. All right, fine. We could start here. Will there be Montreal fan mogging of the arena?
Oh, there we go.
Will there?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't think so.
I said yesterday, I don't think it'll be some massive takeover, but the people that are concerned about it are freaking out.
I know.
People are crashing out. I know that term, too.
There we go.
People are crashing out, checking the trends, the number of tickets listed, and I mean, you've got people that I know and love in the Saberhood, the Blade Gang, whatever we all are,
right.
That are just already resigned to games in Buffalo being an embarrassment, that people are just cashing in for dollars, not going, and it will be a home game for Montreal. Like it's out of control how much people are worried about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did an extended nightcap, Zach, Derek, and I last night, and we got calls about it, and it sounded like these movie monologues of like the enemy coming.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna see red in that arena, like really dramatic, and
all right, well,
everybody's feeling it. Like,
I had the thought on the way in. This is something we have made fun of other teams for doing. You want to go ahead and ban their jersey in the arena?
Oh,
You want to do it?
it's the lamest thing.
It's super
ever.
lame.
bring
Well,
us your
what's-
Canadiens jersey for a free Sabres jersey.
You don't do that. In Tampa, they would not let you wear a Blackhawks jersey when they played them in the final or whatever, right? You're not allowed. So, want to do that?
No.
Want to go to that? If you're so worried about being embarrassed because you think this is going to be such a problem, who wants to do that? Let's go ahead and put the press release out. You want to do what they did in Carolina, where they say no purchases from this zip code. All the credit cards must be
Right.
based in the research triangle. What anyone want to do that? What do you want to do? What's everyone want to do? Or you want to not freak out about
Or do
it?
we want to just trust Saber fandom to
I don't know about
hopefully
that. I'm not sure if I want to do that. It does
fair.
make me wonder if the reason when the Sabres listed the extra tickets for season ticket holders that could be purchased, the reason that they were $500 was so people didn't see them at like $150 and say like, oh, I'll snag those and then spin those.
Right.
If the purchase is $500, all of a sudden my idea of flipping that into a better ticket or flipping that into a bigger price to someone else, my incentive is down. I'm taking a bigger risk. I'm getting a lower cut. The secondary market, there's probably a good conversation to be had here about like the net positives and negatives of the secondary market overall.
Right. But I think it's pretty
And
heavily
this
on the
this
negative
is
side.
a spot where I asked this question. When did we do this? Would it have been this series or the Boston series or where was it recently? Just you want to be the Masters, be the Masters. You can't
Right.
resell the tickets. Done.
That's it.
That's it. You can't resell the tickets.
Yeah.
They cannot be
Yeah.
resold. You want to do that?
I don't think I'd mind that.
What's everybody want to do about it? Want to just not worry about it?
I feel like
Not-
that's probably the best thing to do.
Are we about to, just very quickly, is everyone out there that is absolutely losing their mind about how embarrassing it'll be? Just be clear. As this whole magical run starts and we elevate our numbers into the plaza in the streets of Buffalo into like 30,000 people outside, are 4,000 people spending $500 going to talk you out of that? That's what's going to happen? You're going to just say, well, clearly no one cares around here because there were some ticket sales to people for – like I'm looking online. I even created a new account at a new site where you can track how many tickets are listed and the price to get in. And, I do this with the Bills too. On the Bills, I think the Bills go through Ticketmaster. And I went ahead and I didn't list my Sabres tickets, but I went through the process that I know you can go to a spot and you can see how much you would get for your tickets, what you should list, what others are listing for, and there's also like a Ticketmaster instant buy-in. Like if you want to just sell your tickets to them,
And then they'll sell 'em.
They'll give me X number of dollars for my pair of tickets to game 1 and to game 2, and it's a big number, which means the tickets are expensive. Now, I don't know if that means that they are selling or not. One graphic they have inside the Sabres app, Ticketmaster, and they do this for the Bills too. They'll show you listed and sold. And when I went in there, what I saw was a big number listed and not a lot of sales. So I said this in the first round. In the first round, everyone freaked out about the crime of how expensive they were on the secondary market before game 1, before the series got started. There was a real big, can you believe they're going for that? And sure, some people sold their tickets. Does anybody want to hypothesize that perhaps people that spent $300 on a ticket in the first round would spend $400 in the second round?
Right.
Is it possible that Sabres fans could be buying these tickets as well?
That's-
They bought
that's
them in the
the-
first round.
Yeah.
That's what I keep like. Do we all think that all the tickets are going only to Montreal fans?
I don't know.
Like, whoa.
I don't know.
That's where a lot of people's fears coming from. I feel like.
I saw, again, like it's just people online, and we're going to get some people online later in the show because the Boston fans are also losing their minds. But someone's suggesting that this probably means 8,000 tickets are for sale. 8,000? Are you out of your mind? No, there are not 8,000 seats available in the arena for sale for $600 each.
No.
I don't. It's just. maybe we just need the series to start tonight.
I think that's
great.
what we need.
The NHL just steps in and says, you know what, actually, we're going to start this thing tonight. We're not going to wait. Buffalo is losing its mind. They're too excited. They're too nervous. They're too afraid they won't get a single home game. Will the Canadiens come and take over the Plaza? Are we going to see a sea of red in the Plaza?
Right.
Or is that not going to happen because that's free? They could really do that. We could really get ourselves.
That
take a
should be the
drive.
point of attack, right?
Just take a drive, guys.
Yeah, we could really get ourselves a border war if they want to come in here and just take over the Plaza. Now that would be embarrassing. I'll give you that. If let's go out to the party in the Plaza and it's just Montreal fans at Canal Side,
yeah,
I would not enjoy that.
No.
803-0550 if you want to join us. Game 1 will be tomorrow, and I don't know. I guess are the nerves settling in? Is that what this is? Everyone's starting to get there?
Maybe that is a part of this, that people are just scared about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, let me attach that fear to...
Maybe it's we are finally cool, and we don't want to be looked at as uncool when we just got cool.
Exactly. We don't want we're getting all this love. We don't want the night that, we don't want Montreal to come in and everybody be like, wow, look at what happened over there.
Yeah.
Like, man, I thought they were something else, and now look at that. Like, I just don't. Chill out. Everybody chill out.
Yeah, I'd be more worried about Friday than Wednesday also because Friday's a weekend if you want to come to town and spend the night. Tourism dollars. Joke's on you, Montreal fans. Thanks for the... No, man. I'm going to do that. I'm going to that game. I sent yesterday all day. I'm not worried about it. Now I'm worried about the people that are worried about it. It's just too much going on.
I think we should ignore them.
Yeah?
I think we should ignore them all.
Well,
I just... All right, what is it? What happens if it does happen? And there are 8,000 Montreal fans tomorrow night. Oh, it's like a road game for the Sabres? Okay.
Which they're awesome on the road.
I get that it's embarrassing, but we'll be all right. Even if we get to the nightmare and having them take over the building and we do get the Olay chance. Okay, I know it sucked, but did they win? Does anyone care if they win the game?
I will say... Worst case scenario, in the complete worst case, you are maybe worried that your players will think, oh, they're just here and they got taken over and they got a bag of cash. Mm-hmm. I guess. I don't know. The players make $10 million a year.
Right.
So what am I worried about? I don't know. I know people that are going to these games. I know people that wouldn't consider selling them for X number of dollars. There's the what kind of person are you if you do sell tickets to the highest bidder? I've got some thoughts on that. You do whatever you want. I wouldn't exactly crow about it, how you sold to the highest bidder. You could definitely find a Sabres fan to take them for what you paid for them. You definitely can. If you can't, maybe we can help, right?
Right.
We can facilitate something like that. So anyway.
Yeah, I understand why it happens. It's tempting. It's a lot of money that you can get back.
I saw my instant buyout price for Friday night and thought, I think I might tell my buddy I'm not feeling too well.
Right, and I get it, but
that was just selling them to Ticketmaster. Who knows who they would sell it to?
Right.
I could go plausible deniability. I'm not doing that. No way. No way. So what are we going to do about it? I should have rooted for Tampa instead. This is why I rooted for Tampa. All right, well, you didn't root hard enough. You should have rooted harder.
And if that's your reasoning for picking a team to play in the second round of the playoffs, I don't know.
Yeah.
Pick a better reason.
803-0550 is our phone number. If you want to chime in, if you what you think about it, if you want to, I don't know, the team could decide to take steps if they really wanted to. It's something that is done, and I don't know if anybody feel better about it, but is what it is. Carter in Fredonia. Good morning, Carter.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
Good.
So just to take on the, fans kind of going crazy about Montreal invading Buffalo. We haven't really done we're 1-2 at home in the playoffs, but we were the 6th best road team in the league. Maybe if Montreal fans did come and, take over KeyBank like everybody's freaking out about, maybe that would be an advantage in turning tables around.
Sure. I mean, I don't know that I'm not in here thinking about their road record versus their home record. The Sabres were a pretty good home team this year, and I want it to be, listen, if I could choose, it would be all Sabres fans. I would definitely want that because that's a lot of fun and, complete support, making it intimidating atmosphere. You'll always hear players on the road inspired by their fans invading. That does definitely happen. Sabres this last series talking about how being in Boston and hearing "Let's Go Buffalo" chants like that was something they really liked. But so for that reason, I'm good on. I don't know. I'm not going to take a silver lining in how good the Sabres were on the road. The question is, will they just be better? Would it affect them? Would it bother them? Would it rattle them? Would it be the kind of thing that is worrisome? And even, again, like that's all secondary. Will it even be noticeably a problem? I specifically asked Owen when he was about Boston, how many fans? Was it, quote, embarrassing, or is it just like, oh, people got into the building? People always get into the building. I can buy a ticket to Montreal right now. How about that? Let's turn the tables.
Right.
Everybody sells their tickets to Buffalo, go to Montreal. All right? Everybody. And we'll just flip the script. It'll be a complete road series for everybody.
Swap the teams, yeah.
Montreal plays home games here. We play home games in Montreal.
I mean, if it goes like the last series, that might not be the worst idea.
Right. Well,
Right.
No, all the Sabres fans would be in Montreal.
Right. So
Yes.
what is it? Is it the building or is it the fans that make it?
Great question. Great question. But, I mean, here you go. 328 Montreal, two seats together. You want to buy them? Is it embarrassing for that fan that's selling that pair of tickets? They've got a lot of fans. They're an original six. They're a powerhouse. We know that. And they're excited to be back in the playoffs for the second straight year, and this time into the second round. 803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550. We've got Lindy at 8 o'clock today, by the way. I'm excited to talk to Lindy Ruff. Ask him if he's got an update this morning on Sam Carrick and, the matchup with Montreal. Eric in Buffalo. Eric, good morning. Oh, Eric, are you there? Not there. Eric's not there. Tony. Hello, Tony. Good morning.
Hey, fellas. Good morning. How we doing?
We're good.
It's Tony from the Creek, short for Stony Creek.
All right.
And I was listening to Mike yesterday afternoon on the drive home, and he was saying that Buffalo is becoming Canada's team. And maybe in Toronto, because they hate the Habs. But I'll tell you guys one thing right now. Canada is bleeding red, white, and blue.
Okay.
It'll be a tsunami of red, white, and blue at KeyBank tomorrow.
Oh, a
And
tsunami.
the plaza will be packed. The plaza will be packed as well.
Oh.
And I'll be there. I'll be at KeyBank tomorrow night.
Congratulations.
So go Habs, go.
How many?
Our year.
How many is a C inside the arena? How many will it be?
I predict we're looking probably 6,000 to 7,000.
All right, 6,000 to 7,000. It says Tony in Stony Creek. 6,000 to 7,000. Okay, if you say so.
Good luck.
If you say so.
It'll be fun if that happens. I think it could be fun.
Right.
But I don't think that's happening, Tony. I'm sorry.
It might be.
Maybe, and we'll eat it if it does. But
it just seems to me that like that number, like, actually, hold on, Tony, what'd you pay for your seats?
I was fortunate enough to have one gifted to me, believe it or not.
Okay, by who? Someone that had tickets, or how are you getting in?
Through a season ticket holder.
That just gave them to a Montreal fan
Pretty well.
for free?
Pretty close. Yes, sir.
pretty close.
The story, maybe, is the story not holding up here?
It seems off.
Guys, one way or the other, we will get in.
Is the story changing?
Money talks.
Are you going?
Money talks.
I mean, you're going for free. How many more are coming for free?
If money talks, why didn't you,
And you said
speak?
you said pretty close to free. Anyway, the story was changing a little bit.
Seemed to
A
evolve.
season ticket holder gave them to a Montreal fan for free. Well, why would you do that?
Seems a little.
Why would you do that instead of just sell it for X number of dollars? Anyway, who's ready for this rivalry to start? And I mean rivalry. Like that's another part of this, that some think that this series will be. I mean, listen, I'm not here to predict that Sabres Montreal will be the next Tampa, Florida, because those two teams have both been great for 5 years and battling at the top of the division. But there's a future where it's very possible. I mean, Montreal, I think, will be good for a while. They're young. The Sabres, I'd like to think, are young enough to continue to be good for a while. What's Toronto doing? Bull. I'm going to talk, we'll get into that. Is Boston going to take some medicine and go the other way? I saw Boston media talking about David Pasternak's comments and whether or not they need to kind of shuffle the deck there. So, okay, there's that. Florida should be back. I mean, Florida's got a ton of great talent.
Could be.
You wonder how they can stay healthy and how old they are.
Right.
So, Ottawa should be back. Maybe the division flips on its head for a couple of years, and it's Buffalo, Montreal, Ottawa. And then, of course, the Red Wings can just kind of stay there.
I would predict that these two teams will be doing battle at the top of this division for a long time. I think Montreal is, I say this a lot, but I think they're set up to be the best team in the league for the next 5 years for really starting whenever they want.
Perfect.
I think they're set up to be great. I think the Sabres are in pretty much the same spot. So I think this could be the start of, you said I don't want to say Tampa, Florida. I might go there. I think if this series proves to be what we think it might be, and it's great and all that, and then they go next year and they have some good competitive games, I think it could become a real thing.
Yeah. Well, if they're going to be, if Montreal's going to be good for the next 5-6 years, then sit this one out.
Right.
803-0550. Kate in Tonawanda. Hey, Kate. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. How you guys doing?
Good.
I want to comment a couple of things. So I know that the excess non-season ticket holders got to buy their tickets, I believe, on Saturday before, obviously, Montreal and Tampa Bay had their final game. So hopefully that screened out a lot of Montreal fans unless they were really paying attention. So then it's just the secondary market. I like your idea of you guys somehow facilitating some sort of kind of local, making sure if you want to sell your tickets, you're selling to somebody local. Maybe you can have something like have Marty screen, make sure nobody's doing a fake or doing a French Canadian accent and trying to fake it as an American one or something.
Marty determines they start talking too French Canadian. You're not getting these tickets. Marty's basically IDing people as they're trying to buy tickets. Yeah.
Yep.
I like it. Thanks, Kate. Yeah, the timing of tickets and how many were available. Again, I really will reach out and try to find an answer. If the reason that the very limited quality of tickets or quantity of tickets that were out there for season ticket holders to purchase were so expensive was to discourage resale. It's the number one way to do it. Right. Make them so expensive that no one's going to use their privilege there, that they have the ability to buy them to flip them. Maybe not. 803-0550 our phone number and 1-888-550-2550. Sabres and Canadians tomorrow night. Carolina's up 2-0.
Yeah, how about that?
They were down 2-0
after 5 minutes.
And they won the game, very unsurprisingly.
Yep. I was watching that one with the old man and leaned over to him once Carolina scored their first goal on the power play. It was Ehlers, and I said,
that's over.
Carolina is winning this game now. They needed to get to the first period without giving one up and hope they could sit on it, and they couldn't do it.
Vegas beat Anaheim 3-1 last night. That game is tough. That series is tough to watch because the uniforms do not.
Yeah.
I mean, we got gold and orange clashing, and that's not fun.
It's an ugly look.
Do not like that. Sabres Montreal should be a very nice looking
sure.
series. Eric in Buffalo. Eric, good morning.
Good morning.
Howdy.
First off, I want to tell all our fans, relax with thinking that they're going to take over our building. What makes me upset about us that you guys, not talking about you in general, but the fans that's upset about it. Y'all know we, as far as Bills and Sabres, when it comes to play, we missed the playoffs 14 years and 17 years. We are not going to allow anybody else to buy tickets and sell out our stadiums and embarrass them. It's crazy how everybody else recognize how our emotion and how much we back up our team, but when it comes to us, within ourselves, we seem like we don't have faith, and that's not right. And then the second thing I want to say is I do agree with the Dana jerseys. No, I don't. I think that's soft, except for once we win this round and we play Carolina. Ban Carolina jerseys.
Yeah. Thanks, Eric.
You guys have a good day. Go Sabres, go Bills.
You too. Thanks, Eric. Listen, it's something that I'll try to find the story from what year that was. It might have been, 2019, 2020, pre-COVID, right? I'm almost positive it would have been Chicago and Tampa. They played in the final, right? Stanley Cup final. Chicago.
Yes. No, I don't think that. Now I'm forgetting. Hang on. Let's look. maybe their first cup.
Maybe. For whatever reason, I feel like it was Chicago jerseys in Tampa that were banned. I could be wrong about that, but I know that one of the Florida teams made a move to do something like that, and I thought that was the series. So
They lost in 14-15 to Chicago.
okay, so
that might be right.
So 2015, then. I'll try and find the story. Tampa said, if you buy tickets, you get in, that's fine. You're not wearing a jersey. Maybe it was only by the glass, whatever. The organization, Tampa, did not want to be embarrassed by being taken over by an original six, giant fan base, blah, blah, blah. And they made that policy, and, they took some heat for it, but they did it.
Yeah.
I don't think the Sabres are going to do that. But if you're really worried about it, I'd like to hear you make a case.
Yeah.
Anyway, 803-0550. Hey, notice a rattle in your ducts or a rise in your heating and cooling bills? If you do, give Belknap a ring. 0% financing. The cost of upgrading to a high-efficiency dual-fuel heating system is a breeze. Learn more at belknapheating.com. That's belknapheating.com. Go green, save energy and money with Belknap. Schedule a free estimate on your new installation. Give Belknap a ring at 688-1728 for more comfort and less ka-ching. Give Belknap a ring.
Game 1 of round 2, one day out. Tomorrow, face-off set for 7 o'clock at KeyBank Center against the Montreal Canadiens. Head coach Lindy Ruff addressed the media yesterday with an update on forward Sam Carrick, saying he's further along than he originally believed and that Carrick might be able to join the Sabres at practice today. For more information, Paul Hamilton has a piece up at our website, WGR550.com, and Lindy Ruff will join Jeremy White coming up at 8 o'clock. Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin, also one of the 3 finalists for the Bill Masterson Trophy, the player that best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. Some scores from the playoffs last night. Carolina beat the Flyers 3-2 in overtime. They hold a 2-0 series lead. Vegas, they beat Anaheim 3-1. They lead their series 1-0. In the NFL, Sal Capaccio is continuing his State of the Bill series at our website, WGR550.com. The wide receivers are the latest position group. And around the NFL, the Packers, they've signed quarterback Tyrod Taylor, formerly of the Jets. Baltimore is signing Skylar Thompson, making that 5 quarterbacks on the Ravens roster. And Texans CEO Cal McNair said the Texans are fully committed to C.J. Stroud. You can catch every take, every reaction, and every big Buffalo sports moment live now on YouTube with Jeremy and Joe in the morning and Shope and the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet, with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
We know them, they know us, so it's going to be a battle. It comes down to compete. It comes down to who wants it more every shift. Puck battles, box outs, stuff like that. It's going to be so tight, so it'll take a lot to score goals in the series, I think.
Rasmus Dahlin, finalist for the Masterton Trophy. Jeremy and Joe, good morning. Joe's still on leave. Talking with you, Owen Parker and Joe Cali are both here. We'll talk with Sal at 7 o'clock. His State of the Roster series continues. Let's talk a little football there. Lindy Ruff at 8 o'clock in Game 1 in the second round is tomorrow. Quick mention here, last night, former Saber Taylor Hall. That's right, former Saber. Gets the overtime winner for Carolina. So I know what you've been thinking. All right, O'Reilly got 1. Reinhart got 2. Eichel got 1. Bogosian, right? Bogosian got, did he get 1 in there? Probably. It's all over.
Tampa.
Until Taylor Hall raises the cup this year. I don't think it's going to hit the same way. But he scored 2 goals in 37 games with the Sabres. And since then has been basically real close to a 20-goal scorer every year. He had 18 this year. He had 18 last year.
He's really kind of found a nice sort of even level down in that sort of middle 6 role for Carolina.
He's 34 years old.
Works well with what they do, speed, sort of tenacity. He's got enough skill to score. He's a good player for them. He's important.
Yep.
Kind of a middle. I'm trying to think of who he would be like on this. I mean, Zucker.
Sure.
Kind of like Zucker for them.
Yeah.
Little
18
speedier,
goals.
But I think they're similar sort of roles. Veteran, middle 6 guy.
They're the same age. And Zucker had how many goals Zucker have this year?
24 is my guess.
24.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know
24.
that.
803-0550. Talking a little bit about the panic about the takeover and Montreal's takeover. Will they, in fact, enter the building? Will they take it over? Should we bother freaking out about it or just accept, whatever's going to happen? And then there's, the ethical part of it. Well, if you're just going to take your money and sell it on the secondary market. There's, these teams have relationships with these secondary sellers, and I would they just sell directly to secondary, like whole rows to a secondary seller? I think they probably would. I'm sure that happens in the league where, they get away with, I don't know. I don't exactly know how the relationships work, but, you'll see a whole row available and think, how's that happen?
Right.
Like everybody in that row just coincidentally is listing it? Anyway.
Yeah, it seems odd, but yeah, I think there's enough of the actual hockey to be talked about too.
True.
There's that to be had too.
You know, as you said, these two teams might and have a budding rivalry, and maybe they're the two of the best teams in the league going forward because they're young and there's a lot to like. Whatever. I'll say top 10 teams. That way you don't have to make. The one thing that Montreal has over the Sabres, I think you would say, is they have a number of paths in goal that get them there.
Yeah.
And the Sabres, right now it's Alex Lyon, and that's going great.
It is. It's going great, and that's all you need right now.
Right. That's what you need right now. But Montreal has multiple roads
Yeah.
for future goaltending kind of in place.
Fowler and Dobish both are, I think, number one level goaltenders in the league. Like true number one. Like play 57 to 65 games a year, guys.
Yeah.
Fowler, I think, is really special. He's a little younger than Dobish, but even Dobish himself is a really, really impressive goaltender to watch. So that's definitely a place where they've got a leg up.
What's the advanced scout saying so far?
Very aggressive. Like I almost want to call him a power goalie.
So is this a scenario where it actually is good to overpass the puck?
Yes, I think that may be exactly correct because he will try and stop you from getting a grade A chance behind him. And if you can make a miss on that or guess on that, he's going to be in tough shape. He is athletic enough to have a chance, but he and that's why he's able to be that aggressive. But I think he's gettable in terms of make him make a bad read and then beat him from there, because that's where you can really get around him and he can get into some squirrely action. When he gets behind it, he gets a little chasey and sort of loses structure, I'll say. But he's really, really talented, smart, skates really well, athletic, big, all of it. He's got all of it. He's a good goalie.
803-0550. Max in Gettsville. Hey, Max, good morning.
Hey, guys. Just a couple super quick points. I think we're going to see all four goalies in this series. Second, I think Sam Carrick coming back is going to be ginormous for this team. Montreal is really good at faceoffs. Makes me really nervous sometimes in the third period. I feel like we can't win the big one. And then lastly, guys, I got some beef with the ticket prices. I don't think it's going to be a takeover at all. The season ticket members are going to go, and Sabres fans are going to want to go. I waited in the queue 3 o'clock on Derby Saturday, and I got in right away. I mean, it was 3:01, and I like the nice seats. I was looking at the 200s; they're over $500, and that's right away. Like 3:01, I got in. I got lucky.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's frustrating. I don't think the prices being that high is gonna the prices could have been anything. As a Sabres fan, excuse me, and I'm going to the game. I don't want to resell. I don't know. It's frustrating.
Thanks, Max. I'm with you. You would think, who knows? Like the Sabres know the internal numbers of how many tickets are brokers and how many tickets are fans. And this is a point about the Bills' new stadium, right? They went down about 10,000 seats ish, and one of the reasons they did that was they thought they could get brokers out, and PSLs to be purchased would mean that there are more individual fans, and those fans will sell their tickets as they see fit from there if they can't go to games. But the idea was that the number of actual season ticket holders, the stadium going down in size made sense. And back in like 05, 06 and 06, 07, this whatever, if you want to get deep into the secondary market and how it works. The secondary market works primarily because supply and demand would say that people want to go to a game enough that they'd pay more than what the box office charges. Imagine for a moment that the Sabres and Montreal series, they didn't announce what the prices were to any single game. They couldn't just roll out of the gate and say, all right, well, every seat in the building the entire week is $500, because they wouldn't sell. They would not sell that building out, I don't think, unless, I don't know, I certainly wouldn't be paying $500 a seat to go. So, you fill up your building, and you, I'm sure, do advanced analytics and studies and what you can get. And the Sabres ticket prices are announced before the round. I already know what my seat will be in round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4. Maybe if they had known it would be Montreal in round 2, that ticket could have been a little more expensive. But again, all you're doing is eating into the secondary market's profit. So, and I mean the sellers in the secondary market. The idea that you would log in, like you said, at 3:01 on Saturday and see a big number, I do think that discourages people to just, perfect, I'll just buy 4 or I'll buy 2 and spin them because I can afford to make this, small investment at the chance at a bigger payday. Instead, if I'm investing $1,000 to make 1,100 by the time fees and everything like that hits, then maybe it lessens my incentive to do that. I don't know. It's been a while. The last 10 years, Sabres tickets have been available for like $12. It's a different life now. 803-0550. Let's get Patrick in D.C. Hey, Patrick, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're good.
I live within walking distance to Capital One and found myself at every single Caps Canadiens playoff game last year.
Yep.
In game 2, I sat next to a group of probably 5 to 6 Montreal Canadian fans who flew in on a private jet just for the game that night and they were telling me that they're going to fly back to Montreal and that their game plan for like all the playoff games is to try to like pack the lower bowl as much as possible.
Yeah.
I don't think that we have the same problem that the Caps have with trying to like fend off Montreal fans. But I do think if there's ever going to be a problem fan base to try and invade, it's them. And if that guy said 6,000 or 7,000 fans are going to invade, we got to like take out a loan to go invade Montreal and embarrass them because 6,000 to 7,000 would be embarrassing.
It'd be tough. Thanks, Patrick. I do think, whenever you are the underrepresented fan base, you tend to get louder and try and be louder, right? To me, it's a lot like booing. If you're in a 19,000-seat stadium and 3,000 people boo, that will sound like a lot of the stadium booed this player, right? Like if it's Nikita Zadorov or whatever. Like every person doesn't boo. Like we all know that. And it can take over. And if you have 4,000 Montreal fans, it depends on how they're spread. Lower bowl is really it, right? Lower bowl is what looks. If I put 4,000 fans in the upper bowl versus 4,000 fans in the lower bowl and then ask people to say, how many fans were at the game? My guess is if they were in the upper bowl, you'd guess none. And if they're in the lower bowl, you'd guess 10,000. And it's the same number of fans, just like the way that it looks. If you're saying that their game plan, private jets and taking over lower bowls, I don't have that in my cards. That's not happening for me. I mean, unless somebody wants to take me. I'll go to Montreal. Owen's got to go to Montreal. Maybe game 6. Maybe game 4. Just,
hey.
Wouldn't that be something?
Hey.
If there's a clincher, you got to go. 803-0550 to join us. We'll get a break in. Sal coming up, top of the hour. Get his thoughts on this, on the series. Lindy Ruff at 8 o'clock. Sam Carrick maybe being back and available for the series. Could be big, right? We liked what we saw out of him. He's missed a good chunk of time. If he's ready to come back, that's great news. And, we'll get into it. Keep getting into it with this series. 803-0550. Also have to talk about what's going on in Toronto. The Sabres, of course, are now, good, and Toronto appears to have taken over the mantle as laughingstock. Earned or not, the league is definitely taking its shots at the hires that they have made of former Arizona GM John Chayka. So, for better or for worse, I thought Owen had a really good point on this. We'll get to his tweet about this, how they're taking bombs from everywhere. People are just taking shots at Toronto. So how justified is it, and what does it ultimately mean? Well, we'll get into it. 803-0550. When we return, the updated timeline on the old Highmark Stadium is a lot faster than I had realized, and maybe you had as well. The one thing that Montreal has over the Sabres, I think you would say, is they have a number of paths in goal that get them there.
Yeah.
And the Sabres, right now it's Alex Lyon, and that's going great.
It is. It's going great, and that's all you need right now.
Right. That's what you need right now. But Montreal has multiple roads for future goaltending kind of in place.
Fowler and Dobish both are, I think, number one level goaltenders in
Yeah.
the league. Like true number one. Like play 57 to 65 games a year guys.
Yeah.
Fowler, I think, is really special. He's a little younger than Dobesh, but even Dobesh himself is a really, really impressive goaltender to watch. So that's definitely a place where they've got a leg up.
What's the advanced scout saying so far?
Very aggressive. Like I almost want to call him a power goalie.
So is this a scenario where it actually is good to overpass the puck?
Yes, I think that may be exactly correct because he will try and stop you from getting a grade A chance behind him. And if you can make a miss on that or guess on that, he's going to be in tough shape. He is athletic enough to have a chance, but you know he and that's why he's able to be that aggressive. But I think he's gettable in terms of make him make a bad read and then beat him from there because that's where you can really get around him and he can get into some squirrely action. When he gets behind it, he gets a little chasey and sort of loses structure, I'll say. But he's really, really talented, smart, skates really well, athletic, big, all of it. He's got all of it. He's a good goalie.
So, updated timeline on the stadium, on the old Highmark Stadium. They turned the power off. Like, it's off, all the way off. No more power, and the chat's going to jump in on no more power. Oh, no more power? No. No more power at the old stadium, and I didn't realize. I thought that thing was going to be up until next March, but that is not the case. I don't know why I thought that. Maybe I'm whatever. Clearly, I just missed the timelines because what's happening now is most of the structure will be down by late summer.
Whoa!
And an interview on WBEN. There's a full story at WBEN.com. Frank Simonelli that the last last punch of whatever it is. It's not an implosion. It's a dismantling, and the last blow could be landed by, the fall.
That's insane.
So that stadium's coming down fast. They're going to disassemble it, take it apart. They've been selling all the seats and the memorabilia, and, yeah, it's going to come down fast. So
That's crazy.
I was also in the mind of thinking it would be a year at least, till next March. I don't know where I saw that, but
I guess it makes sense
faster
to try and get it done as fast as possible because it would be
they need that space.
Not just that, but it'd be a hazard.
Yeah.
We've been living for 3 years where next to the place where 70,000 people go is a place that no one can go because you'll get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
and then you have people jumping into the pit and all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
You would have a lot of people probably breaking into the old Highmark.
Might have some security concerns.
Yeah,
I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
That's probably a good point.
So the whole thing could be done by the fall, and most of it be done by late summer. No implosion, which is unfortunate. You guys ever been? You guys ever been to an implosion?
No, I've not been to an implosion.
I might have seen one as I was driving down the highway on the bus when I was in New Mexico.
You're telling me there's an implosion happening you're on a bus.
Oh
my gosh.
All right.
We all saw that happen. It was a ways away, but it was like, whoa, look at that. That was pretty crazy. And then the shockwave hit the bus a minute after we saw it.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
I saw Gates, the hospital, when they knocked that down and they built the apartments there. I think it was early in the morning. I remember that because we all walked down to what's that street? Lafayette area.
Yeah, I think
and watched it from there. Let's watch an implosion. And sure enough, it was a bunch of explosions. And then, all right, that was it.
There it goes.
So they're not doing that for Highmark Stadium. It's going to be slowly dismantled.
Is that because there's a risk of something blowing off the side of the building and hitting the new building?
I'll steal a joke from Joe Marino of the Locked On Bills podcast. I talked to him about this yesterday. He said, I haven't seen an implosion since the Ravens in week 1. So I'll steal that from Joe. Credit to Joe
Boston
Marino.
in the third period in game 1.
That's right. That one too. Yes, Theodore in Southern Ontario before the break. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, gentlemen?
Good.
Very good. First off, thanks for the content you give us. It's amazing. We appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. I just want to touch on a couple things with the Canadians coming into town, being over the border, dealing with the annoying fan base nonstop. Just to put something out there to these fans, I see it all the time. I attend a lot of hockey. The value means nothing. They will what they will do is they will attend. They will come to Buffalo. A certain amount of the base will literally make it home for 2 weeks. They'll buy every ticket they can, and they will appear. They're more of an upper high class fan base, if you will.
Yep.
The same goes for in Montreal. And keep in mind that in Southern Ontario, just over the border where I am, the vast majority, believe it or not, are not Leafs fans. It's Canadians fans. So that's something to consider. They're very spread out, and they do travel. And yes, they're annoying. They will remind everybody that they have the most Stanley Cups, and I always remind them that they won most of them when there was few teams in the NHL.
Right.
So
thanks, Theodore. Not only that, I've got a long-standing policy. If you were not alive for all those championships, you were not claiming them. Not interested in your original 6 trophies there, Toronto. The kid at the parade in Boston with he gets to claim those. He's been around. You're a Yankee fan. You get as many as you have when you were alive. That's always been my policy. But for me in sports, it's not that many. 1, Syracuse. And maybe 1 in the Premier League. Coming. There's a big result yesterday. We're going to talk with Sal coming up. Sal joining us to talk state of the roster. He has his latest up, receiver. We'll check in on running back as well because, it's an ongoing series. A little bit of football mixed in. Get his thoughts on this Montreal series as well. Jeremy and Joe out, and we're talking with you here on WGR. the one thing that Montreal has over the Sabres, I think you would say, is they have a number of paths in goal that get them there.
Yeah.
And the Sabres, right now it's Alex Lyon, and that's going great.
It is. It's going great, and that's all you need right now.
Right, that's what you need right now. But Montreal has multiple roads
Yeah.
for future goaltending kind of in place.
Fowler and Dobish both are, I think, number one level goaltenders in the league. Like true number one. Like play 57 to 65 games a year, guys.
Yeah.
Fowler, I think, is really special. He's a little younger than Dobish, but even Dobish himself is a really, really impressive goaltender to watch. So that's definitely a place where they've got a leg up.
What's the advanced scout saying so far?
Very aggressive. Like I almost want to call him a power goalie.
So is this a scenario where it actually is good to overpass the puck?
Yes, I think that may be exactly correct, because he will try and stop you from getting a grade A chance behind him. And if you can make a miss on that or guess on that, he's going to be in tough shape. He is athletic enough to have a chance, but you know, he and that's why he's able to be that aggressive. But I think he's gettable in terms of make him make a bad read and then beat him from there, because that's where you can really get around him and he can get into some squirrely action. When he gets behind it, he gets a little chasey and sort of loses structure, I'll say. But he's really, really talented, smart, skates really well, athletic, big, all of it. He's got all of it. He's a good goalie.
Game 1 of round 2, one day out. Tomorrow, face-off set for 7 o'clock at KeyBank Center against the Montreal Canadiens. Head coach Lindy Ruff addressed the media yesterday with an update on forward Sam Carrick, saying he's further along than he originally believed, and that Carrick might be able to join the Sabres at practice today. For more, Paul Hamilton has a piece up at our website, WGR550.com, and Lindy Ruff will join Jeremy White coming up at 8 o'clock. Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin, one of the 3 finalists for the Bill Masterton Trophy, the player that best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. Scores from last night in the playoffs. Carolina beat the Flyers 3-2 in overtime. They hold a 2-0 series lead, and Vegas beat Anaheim 3-1. They lead their series 1-0. Sal Capaccio continuing his State of the Bill series at our website, WGR550.com. And the wide receivers are the latest position group up. Around the NFL, the Packers, they signed quarterback Tyrod Taylor, formerly of the Jets. Baltimore signing Skylar Thompson, making that 5 quarterbacks on the Ravens roster. And Texans CEO Cal McNair said the Texans are fully committed to C.J. Stroud. Catch every take, every reaction, and every big Buffalo sports moment live now on YouTube. with Jeremy and Joe in the morning and Shope and the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet, with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Sal Capaccio joining us on the Western Hotline. His State of the Bills series continues. Of course, we're counting down to Game 1 as well between the Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens. Sal, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Just kind of waiting for this series to get started. This one will not have any gaps.
Yeah.
Like the Boston series had 2 3-day breaks, and this one will have, 2-day breaks. You know what I'm trying to say, like an extra day in between.
Yep.
And this one won't have any. We just have to wait the extra day to get there, and then every other day until completion. So it's about to take over our lives if it hasn't already.
No doubt about it. I mean, it's exciting, and I know that I was thinking yesterday about how going towards the end of the year, thinking about where these teams would fall, and we knew that the Sabres and the Lightning and the Canadiens and 1, 2, 3, however it would be. And at some point we realized, okay, they're going to have home ice. And then, oh, my God, could they actually win the division? And now you're here and you actually have home ice against the Canadiens. To be on home ice in round 2 is just unbelievable to me. Yeah. To get to the playoffs was crazy. To win the division, you're actually hosting round 2. Should be a fun series. I still get tied up in who was the better matchup, and who I thought was going to win between Tampa and Montreal. I mean, I think you can make pros and cons for both. I'm a little bit more, I guess, of a traditional kind of thinker that thought that maybe Tampa was the tougher matchup. But then as the series went on, I'm like, I don't know if I want to see Montreal with that line, So either way, it's going to be tough, and this is going to be a fun series.
Yeah. I saw Dom Lucian of The Athletic talking about Montreal Tampa and saying, like, what we saw in Game 7 is why I had Tampa rated so highly. I stand by that. They didn't find their A game until like midway through Game 6. So his thought was like Tampa's the better team. They did not play very well, and Montreal was able to get by them. So then the other side of it is that Montreal, I saw numbers on who led in the series and like minutes spent with the lead, and that was overwhelmingly Montreal. Like they had the lead for most of that series. If you go minute by minute, here it is: 127 minutes with the lead for Montreal. 27 minutes with the lead for Tampa, and it was only 4:53 with the lead in the last 4 games of the series. That's Tampa. So, for whatever it's worth, Montreal was in control of games in that series quite a bit. So we'll see how things go.
And this is, I talk about this in football a lot, but it's certainly true in hockey. I mean, sports are about matchups, right? I mean, we can never do this team beat that team and this team beat that team. It's, how you match up against a certain team, and that's the thing you have to think about. So that's why this is scary for me, because they can skate with the Sabres. Tampa different, right? Tampa, to me, the way that they play, they could drag you in their kind of game, and they try to do that a couple times late in the year. We know that with the Sabres. But Montreal's different. They're not going to drag you into that kind of game, but they can also skate with you the way that Boston definitely could not. And that's the, I think, scary part of this, matchup for the Sabres.
You can join us on the Sabres if you want. We got some time here on the Bills because Sal's rolling through his series, State of the Roster. And today at WGR, it's wide receiver. But Sal, we didn't talk yesterday, so let's do running back first, because you had running back as State of the Bills. Running back James Cook, of course, led the league in rushing. And where the rest of the roster looks like, what it looks like at the running back position. It might have been the quietest offseason ever for running back for this team because, what changes were made is the biggest news that there was a fullback added last week.
Yeah, and I actually touch on the fullback. We can talk about both those positions because I included them both in my article. I think last year was also pretty quiet for running back because, they had drafted Ray Davis the year before that. Although I think Ty Johnson came back last year in a free agent contract, but they really didn't do anything other than that.
Yeah.
And then, I guess I shouldn't say that because James Cook had his.
That's right.
Had his. Yeah, that was loud, but they didn't make any additions, right?
His hold.
And we thought that maybe. Right. We thought, well, could they move on from him? But either way, you're right, Jeremy. I think the Bills feel very, very, very good about their running back room, and why wouldn't they? Right? They have the league's leading rusher. First player to do it in this uniform since O.J. Simpson, which is incredible. And James Cook carried the ball 309 times last year. I mean, I still think about, like, no one saw that coming. Who saw James Cook carrying the ball over 300 times at his size, paying him that much money on a longer term deal, I guess, 4-year extension? I certainly didn't. I did not think that would happen. So, I mean, good for James Cook to be able to do what he was, able to do last year. And I think that, you go into this year thinking, why not? Why not repeat something like that? I mean, the question might be, and this is not a running back question, it might be just more of a philosophical question, how much they want to lean on that versus throwing and Josh Allen and all that. But we'll sort that out as the year goes on. But there's clearly, when you do state of the running back, there's clearly a pecking order. We know who the top guy is. It's James Cook.
Yeah.
The question after him is, does Ty Johnson or Ray Davis become more of the number 2 guy? Because last year it kind of shifted. Ray Davis went from 127 carries to 58. I mean, does that say the same? Does he get more of a workload? What were the reasons for that? And then he finds this role as a kick returner, becomes the best in the league at it. He becomes an all-pro kick returner. Ty Johnson's a third down back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ray Davis get more carries this year, but maybe this is the plan again this year, where it's more of the Ty Johnson show behind James Cook than it is Ray Davis. So it's really interesting how this could shake out.
It's funny, like, as you're running through that, I'm thinking back to the entire offseason, and Joe Brady's been asked 1 million questions, and if it's 1 million questions, Sal, is it 950,000 about the receivers and 50 about running backs? Like, it feels like I've heard Brady talk a lot about the wide receiver room because, it's got questions, and tight end too, because you had to wait for Dawson Knox, so what's going to happen there? Dalton Kincaid surgery. With the running back room, I feel like I have not spent a lot of time thinking, openly wondering, asking you about how Joe Brady, now as the head man, affects how they use their backs and how they are deployed with like regard to workload.
Yeah, and look, we're not going to get that answer right now, right? No one's going to say that to us, but honestly, Jeremy, I think everybody kind of anticipated it would be Ray Davis getting the bulk of the carries behind James Cook last year, and then he did have more last year, but not touches. When you look at what Johnson, did last year, he had more touches overall because he actually had 20 more targets, I should say. If you take targets plus runs, he had 20 more targets in the passing game, Ty Johnson, 33-13. So I don't think anybody expects that to be different. So he really was kind of your de facto number 2 back last year when you think about it. They trust him more on third down because he's a really good pass blocker than really anybody in the roster. And that's not a shot at the other guys, it's just he's good at it. And also because obviously he's very good at catching the ball out of the backfield. So I'm interested to see what happens this year. But like you said, very quiet offseason because they're going to go into training camp apparently with 5 running backs. There was a report that Desmond Reed, a running back out of Pitt, would be added as a UDFA, so we'll see about that. So I'm sure they'll have an extra guy there. And then Frank Gore Jr., I mean, all he can do is continue to try to make plays in preseason, get noticed, maybe be on the Bills practice squad or someone else scoops him up. I mean, he's in a situation here where there's just guys in front of him, but he'll certainly come to camp and try to push for a job right there. I just don't know if there's really a spot for him on this roster.
Reggie Gilliam, Sal, you can include him kind of in this conversation about running backs. Like what you mentioned, we're going to get to that fullback, Ben Van Sumeren. But Gilliam played 235 snaps for them, and I don't know if they've got an idea about how many fullback snaps they'll have, but the roster at fullback and the competition there, is it just the new guy and whether or not he has that role for them?
I think it's just the new guy. There was a report, and we'll see again. We have not heard from the Bills officially on their UDFA ads, but Jackson Acker is a UDFA from Wisconsin. So you would think that, Jim Leonard would be familiar with him, but he's not under contract as of right now. And he wasn't actually signed to like a active roster contract. That was Ben Van Sumeren. In a UDFA, he will, I guess. It's parsing things, but you get my point. Van Sumeren, it looks like they really feel like he can come in and contribute. He's going to be a real big special teams guy. I think he really is the Reggie Gilliam replacement. I mean, this is a guy that played a lot of special teams for the Philadelphia Eagles. He got hurt on the opening kickoff of last year's opening game. He missed missed all of last year, but he was a high level receiver and running back coming out of high school, went to Michigan as a running back. They converted him to a linebacker, goes to the NFL as a linebacker, gets converted back to fullback and running back. So he's a really good athlete, and I think I think they want a little more. To me, like looking at him, they want the Reggie Gilliam guy, but maybe a little bit more versatility out of that position as well.
Sal Capaccio on the Wester Hotline chatting with us about state of the roster. So, all right, running backs you had at the website yesterday. Receivers today, and of course, like it's a position we talk about quite a bit. The Bills spent this offseason with very big investments at the position. Second highest draft pick they've ever drafted one under the Bean era with Skylar Bell. And, of course, the trade for DJ Moore. You know, Sal, as we look at this group, we spent a lot of time talking about Keon Coleman, and in the last 24, 48 hours, I've started to think about, of all the veterans they have and who might be have the most to gain or lose, Josh Palmer probably wants to make sure he doesn't get lost in the mix here, right? 2 new bodies, and he's got to stay healthy, or else it might be between Palmer and Coleman on who gets a jersey, or Bell and Palmer and Coleman.
Well, I think when you look at the big picture, I think there's a couple of tiers here in this group. We know DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir are kind of your number 1, number 2 guy, however you want to slice it. They're going to be your main guys. They're on the team. They're going to do a lot for you. They're going to be targeted a lot. I mean, they're probably going to lead the team in receiver targets, DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir, however that shakes out. Then I think there's a line, and then there's 3 guys. Jeremy, it's Keon Coleman, Skylar Bell, and Joshua Palmer, and I agree with you. The question is, how do they fall in? What's the pecking order for those 3? Does it simply determine on a game-by-game basis, or does someone step up and say, no, I'm the next guy here? And I think a lot of that, like, to me, that's Keon Coleman's job if he can do it, if he wants it, if he can do everything he's supposed to do, be where he's supposed to be on time, and then translate it to the field. I think that, like, if you ask the Bills, like, who would you love to have do that? Oh, my God, that'd be great if it was Keon Coleman. That being said, Joshua Palmer was signed last year to be a very big part of this offense, but the injuries were a bigger story for him. He gets hurt in that Atlanta game, but, he had bumps and bruises along the way, and really just didn't work out for him last year. I think the Bills still believe he can be a really big part of what they do. Only 37 targets last year, 22 catches for 303 yards. That's just not what they signed him for. And they need more out of him. They need him to stay healthy. And I think Josh Palmer would love, it's just sometimes circumstance and happenstance and unfortunate luck in football. If he can stay healthy, though, he has every opportunity to be that next guy on the pecking order. And then there's Skylar Bell, who's the wild card. I think Skylar Bell's ready to play in the NFL. He's going to come in. He's going to play. I don't know if he's ready to be that number 3 or 4 guy on a team yet. That's up to him to come into training camp and show that. But I do think you're looking at Coleman, Palmer, and Bell, just kind of shake them up, and let's see where it falls. But honestly, like, it's actually pretty clear when you look at the depth chart right now. To me, there's 5 guys. It's Moore, Shakir, Coleman, Palmer, Bell. I think everybody after that is probably, and that's only because Tyrell Shavers is dealing with the injury, right? Like, I don't expect him to be ready right away. I mean, even Brandon Beane said it's going to take a while because it was a January ACL tear. So if you look at the roster, I think there's 5 guys who are kind of on the in looking out: Moore, Shakir, Coleman, Palmer, Bell. 5 guys on the out looking in, counting Shavers' injury: him, Hardman, Gosnell, Virgil, and Sherfield. Do you think that one of those guys from the outside looking in, like, is there a space for a Sherfield to make it? If they want a special teamer, it could be Sherfield. And is the idea of anybody else that's still on the market, like Brandon Cooks, right? Like Brandon Beane talked about the idea of Brandon Cooks, like if it would work out, it'd be something they could revisit. Is that option maybe tabled for a while? Or is Cooks looking at, practice squad and go the Jordan Poyer, Jordan Phillips route maybe to try and find a way back on this team if he doesn't have something somewhere else? Yeah, I think that's, to me, like something you probably look at now. Maybe he comes in and maybe they get through OTAs and they figure we do need more here. They love the competition, there's no doubt. You bring Brandon Cooks in, that's a veteran that comes in here and guys will take notice and say, I got to step up my game. I got to beat this guy out. So I think the Bills would love that. But at the same time, you start crowding with numbers a little bit more there, and you don't give as much opportunity to the other guys as you're, trying to go through the process of formulating your team. I could see it happening either way there. Maybe he's a guy you wait and you revisit, but then maybe he signs with another team in the process. To answer your first question, when I say 5 in, 5 out, I do think there's a spot for a 6th guy, and that would be I guess Tyrell Shavers, you want to call him number 6, maybe Skylar Bell, whatever. But yes, a spot for a guy to be that special teams guy. And honestly, it's Tyrell Shavers when he's healthy. If he's not, it's probably Trent Sherfield. He's the Tyrell Shavers clone and replacement, I guess. I went back and looked at when Trent Sherfield was on the team the last time, given what Tyrell Shavers did. Trent Sherfield played in 2023. He was kind of the same role, and I touch on this in the article. He was on the field for 34% of snaps on offense and 33 on special teams. Now, Shavers was about that on offense, but more on special teams. But honestly, Jeremy, it's kind of the same role. So to me, it's basically, if Shavers is healthy, he's the guy there. If not, I think Trent Sherfield has a great look at making the roster and being that guy. And let's see how it goes with Shavers as they get to training camp. He could go on the PUP list, and then, Sherfield's on the team. Shavers gets a few weeks during the regular season, and then kind of let's sort it out after the first month of the season and see if he's healthy or not.
Mecole Hardman, Sal, is there a spot to talk about him as a return man? Or do they maybe I wondered if they would consider Keon Coleman in a job for a punt return. Be like, if he wants to have, maybe you think, sorry, I'm starting over here. Maybe you think he's good with the ball in his hands, but now at receiver you have more options. And you want to get Keon some touches because he can be good after the catch. He has experience returning punts. I just wonder how they'll divvy up the return game in this group.
I agree, too. And I don't know where the return man's coming from because I don't think they want it to come from Khalil Shakir. They'll do it. I mean, if you have to, you put Khalil Shakir back there. But I think in a perfect world, you don't have Khalil Shakir doing that because he's got to play offense for you so much. Mecole Hardman is definitely a guy that's going to, I think, get a lot of looks at punt return and kick return during training camp. We know they have an all-pro kick returner in Ray Davis. Now, what is Jeff Rogers, the new special teams coordinator's thought on that? Does he say, hey, listen, Ray Davis is my guy, and maybe you have 2 guys back there. There's different ways to do it, no doubt. Maybe that's Mecole Hardman. And is Mecole Hardman your best punt returner? Well, if he is he contributing as a wide receiver? It comes down to that question we ask every year. Do they want more of a guy that's going to be on offense helping with returns or more of a dedicated return man who might be able to play offense a little bit? And you have to play with the roster and the numbers a little bit. So I do think Mecole Hardman will get every opportunity to win the punt return job. And even if he's the best punt returner, though, that doesn't guarantee him a spot because you just don't know how they want to formulate the numbers on the roster.
Sal Capaccio on the Western Hotline. Finally, Sal, I brought this up earlier, 645 segment. The old stadium, power is off. All the memorabilia is almost out. They're going to start dismantling all the way through, and that thing could be basically totally gone by early fall and late summer. Most of the structure is down. Like we've spent a lot of time watching changes happen down there, like in this, I want to call it the stadium district because there's 2. But soon it'll be about watching the old Highmark kind of go away piece by piece as opposed to the new one going up.
Yeah, and every step along the way, there's been something a little, different here. Whether it was a groundbreaking or watching the steel going in for the new stadium, and then the memories of Old Highmark and the last games, and going into that stadium and the Jets game, and then we all know that it's gonna be amazing, this new stadium. But with it, every time you turn around, there's that other one sitting there that has all those memories for everybody, and it's gonna be emotional for a lot of people who see that happening and go, oh man, I can't believe it. I don't live far from, and neither do you, Jeremy, from Old War Memorial. You know what I mean? Like the rock pile. And there's people that tell us stories about that and what it used to look like. And I remember going to that stadium when it was a baseball field, believe it or not. I was actually, in middle school when the current baseball stadium was being built and the Bisons played there. And I remember that. And it's always going to hold a lot of memories no matter what. So it's going to be really interesting to kind of go through that process, see that happening. And then obviously there's going to be a lot of things with the Bills that we're going to have to let people know about as far as traffic and parking and all the different things that come along with not building a new stadium, but now tearing down an old stadium essentially.
Sal Capaccio. Finally, Sal, there's a report that the schedule is coming out maybe a week later. It might be delayed. Have you reached out and said, what's the deal on that?
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. I want to tell you. The reports that you're reading were all citing our podcast.
All right, I didn't know that part of it.
That's okay. So everybody, no, because you don't see that, right? So listen. So here's what happened. And I'm glad you asked me this. It's a great context for this. So if you saw yesterday, I saw this too, Jeremy. I'm like, wait a minute. I saw a report. It was NBC Sports, and then there was CBS and awful announcing. It said, schedule could get delayed a week. I'm like, oh, wow. It's just like, well, I mean, we just had Mike North on.
Right.
And I open up the articles, and it's like, according to Mike North on the Always Game Day in Buffalo podcast, I'm like, all right, this is cool. So they set it up. So here's what Mike North said. And I just think, yes, it is true that headline is correct. What he said was, though, he said, look, every year we target the second week in May, and, it works out. It doesn't have to be that way. If we have to delay it, like, I could see it happening in the third week of May. But, I think in an ideal world, they would like it to still be in the second week of May. So, no, I haven't reached out to Mike since then and to ask him any more on it. But the reports you read yesterday from everybody, all these headlines, they actually were citing our podcast and his quotes on our podcast saying, hey, we usually do second week of May. Don't rule out the third week this year. Yeah. I still think, Jeremy, second week of May still feels right. So next week, but it's possible. I mean, are they waiting on Aaron Rodgers to make a decision for some games? I have no idea. You know what I mean? Like, those little things matter here.
Yeah. Yeah. Initially, like, May 12th had been the first date I'd seen. Yes. So there'd be a week from today. And, Sal, to your memory, do we get a few days out a confirmation that, like, oh, it will be released on starting on the 12th into the 14th, like the Good Morning America appearances, the streaming services, right? Like, I wonder how much of it is the schedule has to be finalized and how much has to be also the rolling out of each partner wanting to announce what it has, because that's a part of the schedule release as well.
Mike said that they will do that this year again, whereas they'll have, like, somebody on a morning show on the ABC morning show or NBC morning show and reveal a game. Like, that's going to happen again in some capacity. So he did tell us that. Generally, we get a notice maybe a few days in advance, because what they try to do, Jeremy, they don't want to sit on the schedule too long once it's finalized, because then leaks start coming out, and the league wants to control it, right? So if it's ready on the 11th, it might get out on the 12th or the 13th. But in the lead up to the full schedule, that's just the full schedule. They might already have a few games that they know they want to highlight to put, have Josh Allen show up on a morning show, or Patrick Mahomes on a morning show, or something like that, where they're like, oh yeah, we're going to be playing this particular team on this particular day. So yes, that will happen, and it could very well start happening next week. I don't know. I'm interested too. I don't know when the schedule is going to come out, and I mean, we got all these. It feels like our lives right now, a lot of our lives, are really based on waiting for schedules. Right. The hockey schedule. When is the hockey schedule coming out?
Right.
When are they going to be playing? Right. And then when is the football schedule coming out? We got to plan our damn lives around here.
Yeah. Now we got to wait to see if they win games. If they win games, we keep going. And it's a wild time. All right, Sal. Thanks very much.
All right, you got it. Thanks.
Sal Capaccio. His State of the Roster series continues at WGR550.com. Went through couple of the notes on the latest ones at running back and receiver. If you want to read a little more about all the people in the mix, you can check that out at WGR550.com. Sabres and Canadiens tomorrow, KeyBank Center, and the party in the plaza. The forecast for tomorrow looks like it's going to be fine. We're thinking about going. I'm not going to game one in the arena, but we're thinking about a full plaza experience. I'll kind of cop that. I've never done the full plaza outdoor watch with 10,000 people for a Sabres game. I've done it for other sporting events. I did it for the World Cup in Amsterdam in 2010 or whatever. There's like 80,000 people for the World Cup. That's a big one. But I've not done a party in the plaza watch. And tomorrow, the forecast is going to rain tonight into tomorrow. But by the time we get to tomorrow evening, it should dry out and be okay. And temperatures tomorrow, like in the low 50s, low 40s.
All right.
So
a little jacket on, you'll be good.
Yeah, upper 40s, low 50s, and not windy, which you're down there by the water. If it's not windy, you should be okay.
Yeah, that's big.
Maybe I'll see everybody down at the party in the plaza. There's also the appeal of just kind of going downtown, being around it, and then going out somewhere to watch the game. So, and I wonder if the Sabres are going to explore what Montreal has been doing, which is hosting watch parties in their building. The Sabres could, of course, do that if they wanted to. The Bisons did that a couple of times over the years.
They had the field open, yeah.
It feels like the kind of thing that, as you get deeper, becomes like, all right, you should probably do this.
Yeah, I I saw someone make the point, don't do it so all the local businesses can continue to, flourish. And, you can allow people to do what they want. A watch party is a watch party for me.
Yeah.
The arena could be good, but, being in a bar is pretty great. It's high-fiving season, regardless. It's high-fiving season.
Yes.
And where are you going to be when you're high-fiving people?
Absolutely.
803-0550. When we return, one maybe parting shot thought on the Boston series. Maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't. Just how deep the coping is going in Boston for some of their fans. There's an absolutely incredible, can't believe it, oh my God, the Bruins fans are losing their minds over the Buffalo Sabres post that we'll get to. It's coming up. And then Lindy Ruff at 8 o'clock here on WGR. Jeremy White here for Russell's Tree and Shrub Farm. We got some time here on the Bills because Sal's rolling through his series, State of the Roster. And today at WGR, it's wide receiver. But, Sal, we didn't talk yesterday, so let's do running back first because you had running back as State of the Bills, running back James Cook, of course, led the league in rushing. And where the rest of the roster looks like, what it looks like at the running back position. It might have been the quietest offseason ever for running back for this team because, what changes were made is the biggest news that there was a fullback added last week.
Yeah, and I actually touch on the fullback. We can talk about both those positions because I included them both in my article. I think last year was also pretty quiet for running back because, they had drafted Ray Davis the year before that. Although I think Ty Johnson came back last year in a free agent contract, but they really didn't do anything other than that.
Yeah.
And then, I guess I shouldn't say that because James Cook had his.
That's right.
That was loud, but they didn't make any additions, right?
His hold.
And we thought that maybe. Right. We thought, could they move on from him? But either way, you're right, Jeremy. I think the Bills feel very, very, very good about their running back room. And why wouldn't they, right? They have the league's leading rusher. First player to do it in this uniform since O.J. Simpson, which is incredible. And James Cook carried the ball 309 times last year. I mean, I still think about, no one saw that coming. Who saw James Cook carrying the ball over 300 times at his size, paying him that much money on a longer term deal, I guess, 4-year extension? I certainly didn't. I did not think that would happen. So, I mean, good for James Cook to be able to do what he was, able to do last year. And I think that, you go into this year thinking, why not? Why not repeat something like that? I mean, the question might be, and this is not a running back question, it might be just more of a philosophical question, how much they want to lean on that versus throwing and Josh Allen and all that, but we'll sort that out as the year goes on. But there's clearly, when you do state of the running back, there's clearly a pecking order. We know who the top guy is. It's James Cook.
Yeah.
The question after him is, does Ty Johnson or Ray Davis become more of the number 2 guy? Because last year, it kind of shifted. Ray Davis went from 127 carries to 58. I mean, does that say the same? Does he get more of a workload? What were the reasons for that? And then he finds this role as a kick returner, becomes the best in the league at it. He becomes an all-pro kick returner. Ty Johnson's a third down back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ray Davis get more carries this year, but maybe this is the plan again this year, where it's more the Ty Johnson show behind James Cook than it is Ray Davis. So it's really interesting how this could shake out.
Game 1 of round 2, 1 day out. Tomorrow, face-off set for 7 o'clock at KeyBank Center against the Montreal Canadiens. Head coach Lindy Ruff addressed the media yesterday with an update on forward Sam Carrick, saying he's further along than he originally believed, and that Carrick might be able to join the Sabres at practice today. For more information, Paul Hamilton has a piece up on our website, WGR550.com, and Lindy Ruff will join Jeremy White coming up at 8 o'clock. Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin, one of the 3 finalists for the Bill Masterson Trophy, the player that best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. Some scores from last night around the playoffs. Carolina beat the Flyers 3-2 in overtime. They hold a 2-0 series lead. Vegas beat Anaheim 3-1. They lead their series 1-0. Sal Capaccio, continuing his State of the Bill series at our website, WGR550.com, was just on the show as well. You can find that on demand. The wide receivers are the latest position group up around the NFL. The Packers, they signed quarterback Tyrod Taylor, formerly of the Jets. Baltimore signing Skylar Thompson, making that 5 quarterbacks on the roster. And Texans CEO Cal McNair said the Texans are fully committed to C.J. Stroud. Bulldogs calling you out for a great cause and a great time. Come on out to Bulldogs Ride for Roswell happy hour at Resurgence Brewing on Chicago Street, Friday, May 15th from 7 to 9. Have a Sitmo and help him hit his ride goal with $1 from every Sitmo purchase supporting his team. 26 shirts will be on site with exclusive garage tees, plus Roswell Park and awesome prizes up for grabs. See you May 15th at Resurgence. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet, with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's just not acceptable. So I don't know exactly what it is. We can talk a big game in here about how excited we are, and for whatever reason we were awesome at home this year, and then we just didn't do it. We didn't do it when it mattered the most. So I don't know if it's a maturity thing, if it's we just weren't ready to go with details. I'm not exactly sure, but they got the jump on us all 3 times.
Charlie McAvoy on the Sabres win over the Bruins, where they lost 3 home games. The Bruins did. Got outscored. Let me do the math on this. 13-3 at home by the Sabres in that series. So, all right. Good morning, Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out on leave. Owen Parker, Joe Cali still both here as well. Lindy Ruff coming up at the top of the hour. Open up this morning talking about the idea that there will be a Montreal takeover, which I have simultaneously accepted and also mocked. I don't know. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. I don't think we have to make it our entire identity to worry about it and make it mean a thing. But I've got people online tracking how many tickets are for sale, and at one website there were 3,000 tickets for sale last night. That's a big number. You know how many there are this morning? Still 3,000. Just because they're all listed doesn't mean they're all selling. Now, have 3,000 sold and 3,000 new ones are available? I don't think so. I don't know. Montreal travels well. They're going to come into town, and we'll see some red. I don't know how many red jerseys qualify as a sea of red, but whatever. It is what it is. That said, yesterday I had a friend send to me a screenshot of a Bruins chat on Reddit. Now, I will hand up say, for those of you that are frequently on Reddit, I am not on Reddit all that often. I know the site. If I Google something, the response is going to be like, oh, here's how to cook the steak you want. Here's how to, whatever, install a door. Here's how to yell at the Bruins. There's everything in the world is on Reddit. I understand that. And in a Bruins thread, there was a question about how many games McAvoy will be suspended for. And then a person using the internet typed the following passage, and it represents that the Sabres are living in Boston's head right now, which is a very new experience for all of us, right? Very new. And I want you to go ahead, play along the home version of this game. You let me know which part of this is the best. because all of it is very delicious tea to drink. So, from Total Philosopher 468, that's who posted this on Reddit. Zach Benson. Benson's going to end up causing a career-ending injury with how dirty he plays. The fact that he's already so problematic in such a small amount of time should be waving red flags in everyone's faces. It's not impressive or a good thing to be hated when you have to force it. As far as I know, Brad Marchand's actions are authentic. Benson seems like a high school bully who refuses to grow up. McAvoy deserved to be punished, but Benson absolutely deserves punishment for his actions. Neither are acceptable.
Oh, my Lord.
What's the best part? Is it referring to Zach Benson as a high school bully? Is that
That's
it?
pretty good.
Is it referring to Brad Marchand's antics as
authentic?
Authentic. I like.
Marchand is the most suspended player in NHL history.
Yeah.
By the Department of Player Safety.
Yeah.
Most suspended.
Licked 2 guys.
Licked guys. Authentically, Owen. Please.
Very authentic.
You would not want to force a lick. You'd want the lick to be authentic. Let's bring Gene's territory in. Gene, is this an authentic? Marchand's actions are authentic.
I can't. That's ridiculous.
That seems. Yeah, I don't know. I would love to know if I would be able to twist myself into a pretzel to like Brad Marchand and dislike Zach Benson to that level where I'm like, well, Benson, the way he does it's wrong.
Marchand did it the right way.
Right. Marchand gets it. That guy, sweeping out legs, low bridges.
I mean, McAvoy slew-footed Tage in this series.
Right.
Listen, you did it too is very much an NHL defense. I'll ask this part of it. I kind of asked this question to Paul about what Benson has done. Are we any different? We don't have to care. You don't have to care about this. I'm not asking for morality on this. Are we any different now that we have a guy that maybe if he got suspended 8 times in a 12-year career and was Brad Marchand, would we be sitting there acting like we're above it, or wouldn't we just eat it all up?
I think we would just eat it all up.
When that guy's on your team, you love it.
And you would. But what I would not do is then in 12 years, if there's a new Zach Benson, go well, that guy's not cool. That's not okay. You can't do that. That's ridiculous. You
know who can I'll make a reference here. Benson, he's got a lot going on to his game. I want to make another guy. I want to bring up one more name in terms of what he brings to the ice. It's very different, but the one crossover is the same. Marchand, of course, playing on the line, smaller guy, rat, makes everybody mad. Do you have another Sabre you think of who, when he was on the ice, all he did was draw penalties all the time? You know who else used to do that? Coletta.
I was just going to say.
Coletta used to do that.
Yep.
When Coletta came up, he was a fourth line. I mean, he doesn't have the scoring touch of a Benson, but he was very much an agitator, an all-effort guy, the occasional crossing of the line. But teams went nuts trying to get back at him.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. And he was definitely not well-liked by the opponents, and I think Sabres fans had a ton of respect for Coletta over the years. He played 1,000,000 miles an hour, and people chopped him and slashed him all game long, and he drew a ton of penalties. And Benson, among other things, he's driving teams crazy. He's also finding the score sheet. There was another comment in that same thread, who does this Benson guy think he is? At least Marchand was on the score sheet, and everyone pointed out, buddy, Benson scored in this game.
Yeah.
He scored in this game. He scored the goal that ended your season, really. The 3-1 goal is why. That's when your team died.
Right. It's not technically the game winner,
no,
but it was the game winner.
It might as well have been the season ender.
Yeah.
This was the icing. This was the one that said, night, night.
Yeah, he hasn't scored 100 points yet like Marchand, but he's also
20.
Right.
20.
So, give him a second.
That's another part of that post about, he's the high school bully that refuses to grow up. Grow up, he's 20.
Right. He still...
When was Marchand's last suspension? Was he 34?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm going to find that
also,
out.
wait for... he hasn't even been suspended once yet.
Right.
Give him a second here. He hasn't done anything that bad. That's probably the worst play he's ever made, and that was, dirty, but he's not going to get suspended. He'll maybe get a fine. Maybe.
Marchand, his most recent suspension was a 6-game suspension in 2022. he would have been 33 years old.
Yeah.
This Benson guy's got to grow up.
What?
Incredible. Incredible cope from Boston. Boston, I mean, listen.
It's good stuff.
Half the reason to win at sports and want your team to win at sports, half is your enjoyment, and the other half is their misery, and especially if it's Boston. It's pretty good stuff. Dom is up. Dom, good morning.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call again. Just wanted to pile in on Boston one last time. I lived in Connecticut when they won the Stanley Cup, so this is super sweet for me because I had to hear so much nonsense when all that happened. But yeah, that take is probably the worst take since like Skip Bayless's take on hockey and how he doesn't understand how people could control pucks with sticks. Like it blew his mind. But yeah, the only other thing is I think it's funny that Marco Sturm said basically, you know, everyone knows the bigger, stronger thing, tougher team. And yet now one of their other copes is, 9 of their players got injured during the series. Like I thought, like, shouldn't that not be an issue? Weren't we so tiny and frail and pathetic? How are we injuring your guys? Not that I'm like happy people are injured, but I just think it's funny that you went from we're bigger, stronger, tougher to, boo-hoo, we were hurt the whole time. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't be getting hurt if you're so big and strong and tough. We shouldn't be able to do that to you.
Yeah, and through the series also, thanks, Tom, they are also complaining about Swayman getting too much contact. Like, for a big, strong team that said they were so big and strong, they really seemed to complain about how big and strong the series got.
Right. It seemed like it got a little too strong for them.
The one newspaper photo and all that of Tuck elbowing too. Yeah. Like they were playing into that the entire time.
Yeah. Hey, the winners get to write the stories. It's how it goes. You win, you write the story. Montreal, how about that stat I had for Sal? Like, John Cooper said the hockey gods were not on their side this time, and Cooper, Game 7 of Tampa-Montreal was not quite the gold medal game. The gold medal game was more even than Tampa-Montreal in Game 7. But here you have John Cooper having two really important high-intensity, high-leverage, whatever.
Everything.
Yes. A lot of eyes.
Yes.
And his team loses a game where you would say, like, well, they definitely were probably the better team, but you got to win. And thinking about that Montreal-Tampa series, the hockey gods this, the hockey gods that, Montreal led for considerably more of the series. They were scoring early. Kind of reminds me of the Sabres-Bruins series. Like 3 games in, we were saying, like, well, Boston has led for most of this series. That was Montreal's story through 7 games. They had the lead way more than Tampa did, and they ultimately advanced in 7.
I had a thought about Cooper and the 2 losses you just mentioned, the Game 7 and Canada. They were borderline perfect games structurally with like mind-bogglingly elite talent on the team. And they still they couldn't score.
They scored 1 goal.
And
in both games they scored 1 goal.
I had the thought, like, is it bad for these guys to be that tightly knit and that sort of locked down into what they're doing? Do they need a little bit of just room to operate to make the kind of plays? Like, does a Kucherov or a McDavid get sort of just patted down enough in a game like that where they're so focused on being perfect that it doesn't let your best guys make the difference you need them to?
I think it's a fair point. Like, coaches are going to coach, right?
Right.
If he had just said, like, you guys are Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Kel McCarr, like, just go play games. Just go do your thing. Like, maybe the score ends up being 7-4.
Right.
And a coach doesn't get credit for that, whereas if you know, coaches don't like those big high-scoring games. I don't know. No. I think it's a fair point about, like, we played perfect. Like, you're the more talented team, and you didn't win because you were so focused on playing a certain way.
How perfect is it if you're unable to score?
Yeah.
I get it, and I know that goalies have a job to do too. Believe me, I did it. But I just think sometimes they can take away a little bit of what makes those kind of guys that special.
803-0550 is our phone number, and 1-888-550-2550. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's on leave here on WGR. Sal Capaccio on the West Her hotline chatting with us about state of the roster. So, all right, running backs you had at the website yesterday. Receivers today, and of course, like, it's a position we talk about quite a bit. The Bills spent this offseason with very big investments at the position. Second highest draft pick they've ever drafted one under the Bean era with Skylar Bell. And, of course, the trade for DJ Moore. You know, Sal, as we look at this group, we spent a lot of time talking about Keon Coleman. And in the last, 24, 48 hours, I've started to think about, of all the veterans they have and who might be the most to gain or lose, Josh Palmer probably wants to make sure he doesn't get lost in the mix here, right? 2 new bodies, and he's got to stay healthy, or else it might be between Palmer and Coleman on who gets a jersey, or Bell and Palmer and Coleman.
Well, I think when you look at the big picture, I think there's a couple of tiers here in this group. We know DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir are kind of your number 1, number 2 guy, however you want to slice it. They're going to be your main guys. They're on the team. They're going to do a lot for you. They're going to be targeted a lot. I mean, they're probably going to lead the team in receiver targets. DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir, however that shakes out. Then I think there's a line, and then there's 3 guys. Jeremy, it's Keon Coleman, Skylar Bell, and Joshua Palmer, and I agree with you. The question is, how do they fall in? What's the pecking order for those 3? Does it simply determine on a game-by-game basis, or does someone step up and say, no, I'm the next guy here? And I think a lot of that, like, to me, that's Keon Coleman's job if he can do it, if he wants it, if he can do everything he's supposed to do, be where he's supposed to be on time, and then translate it to the field. I think that, like, if you ask the Bills, like, who would you love to have do that? Oh, my God, that'd be great if it was Keon Coleman. That being said, Joshua Palmer was signed last year to be a very big part of this offense, but the injuries were a bigger story for him. He gets hurt in that Atlanta game, but, he had bumps and bruises along the way, and really just didn't work out for him last year. I think the Bills still believe he can be a really big part of what they do. Only 37 targets last year, 22 catches for 303 yards. That's just not what they signed him for. And they need more out of him. They need him to stay healthy. And I think Josh Palmer would love, it's just sometimes circumstance and happenstance and unfortunate luck in football. If he can stay healthy, though, he has every opportunity to be that next guy on the pecking order. And then there's Skylar Bell, who's the wild card. I think Skylar Bell's ready to play in the NFL. He's going to come in. He's going to play. I don't know if he's ready to be that number 3 or 4 guy on a team yet. That's up to him to come into training camp and show that. But I do think you're looking at Coleman, Palmer, and Bell, just kind of shake them up, and let's see where it falls. But honestly, like, it's actually pretty clear when you look at the depth chart right now. To me, there's 5 guys. It's Moore, Shakir, Coleman, Palmer, Bell. I think everybody after that is probably, and that's only because Tyrell Shavers is dealing with the injury, right? Like, I don't expect him to be ready right away. I mean, even Brandon Beane said it's going to take a while because it was a January ACL tear. So if you look at the roster, I think there's 5 guys who are kind of on the in looking out: Moore, Shakir, Coleman, Palmer, Bell. 5 guys on the out looking in, counting Shavers' injury: him, Hardman, Gosnell, Virgil, and Sherfield.
I'm a Flyers fan. Just finished watching the game because I couldn't stomach the last couple minutes. Played hockey for 14 years. For the record, haven't had anything to drink this evening, and I've never made a call like this, but I would love to know what you guys paid those refs tonight. I think that was a shameful display. I think it was an embarrassment to the game, and I think you should be ashamed of yourselves and what you did. That was an incredible lopsided game. If anyone would like to reach me for any reason, that's fine. My number is area code.
Joe Kelly called Carolina with your 60 Minutes voice.
That's what's being alleged right now.
Somebody called the Hurricanes ticket office to complain about the officiating in Game 1. Was it you?
Not me.
That's your pump-up voice.
It is. I'm not a Flyers fan.
I'm most disappointed in your choice of secret team to enjoy.
I know. That would be a tough scene.
It's not good.
So Carolina has the siren that they rip. We got the drum bang. Last night, Carolina ripping the siren. It was just Seth Jarvis's friends.
Yes.
They're a popular crew, those boys.
Yeah.
They were at the Olympics.
Seth Jarvis's friends just show up in Carolina, drink beers, and rip that siren.
I really wish I didn't love Seth Jarvis as much as I do because I hate the Carolina Hurricanes, but I love Seth Jarvis.
The Carolina Hurricanes are, of course, a detestable franchise, but they have made the franchise out of endlessly cool things.
Yes.
And that's disappointing.
It really is.
Like everything they
It's
do
tough.
is really cool.
Yeah.
They're good smack talkers. The bunch of jerks. They're good at hockey. They have exciting players. A lot of things about them that are very good. Makes it conflicting, but I'm ready to rile up that hate again next round if we get there.
Oh yeah.
Lindy Ruff, Sabres head coach, coming up top of the hour. Chat with Lindy about Sam Carrick and about the upcoming series. Stay tuned. Coming up next. The one thing that Montreal has over the Sabres, I think you would say, is they have a number of paths in goal that get them there.
Yeah.
And the Sabres, right now it's Alex Lyon, and that's going great.
It is. It's going great, and that's all you need right now.
Right. That's what you need right now. But Montreal has multiple roads for future goaltending kind of in place.
Fowler and Dobish both are, I think, number one level goaltenders in the league. Like true number one. Like play 57 to 65 games a year, guys.
Yeah.
Fowler, I think, is really special. He's a little younger than Dobish, but even Dobish himself is a really, really impressive goaltender to watch. So that's definitely a place where they've got a leg up.
What's the advanced scout saying so far?
Very aggressive. Like I almost want to call him a power goalie.
So is this a scenario where it actually is good to overpass the puck?
Yes, I think that may be exactly correct because he will try and stop you from getting a grade A chance behind him, and if you can make a miss on that or guess on that, he's going to be in tough shape. He is athletic enough to have a chance, but he and that's why he's able to be that aggressive. But I think he's gettable in terms of make him make a bad read and then beat him from there, because that's where you can really get around him and he can get into some squirrely action. When he gets behind it, he gets a little chasey and sort of loses structure, I'll say. But he's really, really talented, smart, skates really well, athletic, big, all of it. He's got all of it. He's a good goalie.
Game 1 of round 2, 1 day out. Tomorrow, face-off set for 7 o'clock at KeyBank Center against the Montreal Canadiens. Head coach Lindy Ruff addressed the media yesterday with an update on forward Sam Carrick, saying he's further along than originally expected and that Carrick might be able to join the Sabres at practice today. For more information, Paul Hamilton has a piece up at our website, WGR550.com, and Lindy Ruff will join Jeremy coming right up. The Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin, one of the 3 finalists for the Bill Masterson Trophy, the player that best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. Some scores from the playoffs last night. Carolina beat the Flyers 3-2 in overtime. They hold a 2-0 series lead. Vegas beat Anaheim 3-1. They lead their series 1-0. In the NFL, Sal Capaccio is continuing his State of the Bills series at our website, WGR550.com. The wide receivers are the latest position group added. Looking around the NFL, the Packers signed quarterback Tyrod Taylor, formerly of the Jets. Baltimore is signing Skylar Thompson, making that 5 quarterbacks on the Ravens roster. And Texans CEO Cal McNair said the Texans are fully committed to C.J. Stroud. You can catch every take, every reaction, and every big Buffalo sports moment live now on YouTube with Jeremy and Joe in the morning and Show Up in the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Sabres and Canadiens start their series tomorrow night at KeyBank Center for Game 1, Round 2. We welcome in Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff. Lindy, just me. Joe's out. So it's just you and I today. Good morning.
It's disappointing that Joe bailed on us this morning.
Well, he and his wife just welcomed a baby girl, so he's on leave. He's got a good reason.
That's awesome news. Congratulations.
He's got a good reason. And Lindy, I've been looking.
Good reason.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to talking to you since Friday. I told Nicole when we were arranging, your appearance here. Like I've been eager to talk to you. I'm sure the feeling's mutual. You've been ready for this as well. The win over Boston. It's a few days removed now, but I want to try and go back to the series finale. And you walk off the ice and you give kind of a fist bump. And I don't know if you remember that or you see that. I've watched it a bunch of times because it's whatever. It's like an iconic little picture of the closing of the series. And I wonder, as you walked off the ice, having closed it out, you said you told your players, we're going to go in there and win the game, and then you do. And, how quickly do you turn to the next challenge, and how much are you in that moment thinking like, a little mission accomplished fist pump?
That is a mission accomplished fist pump for sure. To have the year we had in that second half of the year and then really validated by playing a heck of a series, dealing with, a couple tough losses, but that's part of playoff hockey. But to go into their building in Game 6 and really, I thought we put a clinic on with the way we played the start of the game. I thought our guys were dialed in. I was so proud of the way we performed.
It was a fast start, which of course is important, but to me, Boston starts to push back there, and over the course of a long season, do you feel like this team has gained a lot of experience in moments like that?
For sure. I think we've always talked about, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And the start of the third period got a little bit uncomfortable. We weren't handling the puck really well. I felt we were dealing with a little bit of nerves, that little bit of feeling we got a 2-1 lead. We're 20 minutes away here. But you still have to play. You still have to stay on your toes. We dealt with their push okay, and I think part of that push was self-inflicted by the way we handled the puck. We got through it. I think the Benson goal is a goal that I think I'll remember forever because of the work that went into that goal and the effort to get down ice, take the hit, make the play. Everything about that goal was about our season, about how hard you have to work, and don't quit on a play, whether it's forechecking, whether it's back checking. You never know what will end up being the difference in the game. And that play was at that time when we weren't generating much. We were getting outshot. The effort on that play was something that, I thought it pushed us to a place where, now we got Boston where we need him. And I thought the last 13 minutes after that was a clinic.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the same thing, Lindy. Like, I went back and watched it, not just for the goal itself, but the Doan effort to Benson, but shots in the period were 7-1 Bruins. It's an offensive zone face-off. You're on the road. Like, those can be tense moments, and Boston might be feeling a little bit of like they're steadying themselves and ready to maybe throw a shot in there. And then that it's Doan. Like, you've got a lot of players that will play, and on the forecheck, it's a team effort. But Doan there, like, that's another level. And that's the kind of player that Sabres fans have kind of come to see that he is. Like, did you guys watch it in video in meetings, just like watch it 15 times? I'd imagine like it would have been a big celebration. Of course, he took a big hit to do it as well. It was effort, it was sacrifice, it was everything.
For sure. Post-series meetings these last couple of days, we've dealt with the intangibles, the effort on that play, the block shots, the hard 50-50 compete. But, when you look at areas of the game that a lot of times don't get noticed by the outside, we tried to spend time validating some of those plays inside of our meetings, from block shots, from the tracking to the back checking by our best players. Because, like I said, you don't know what play is going to make a difference inside the game. And if you just keep repeating the right thing, one of those plays may turn out to be the biggest play of the game. And, I don't even know if you realized on that play that, our centerman got kicked out and, Benny went in to take the draw. We lose the draw. They got the best team. They got the best line on the ice. It could have been a tough situation for us, but we turned it into a positive.
It might even be, I don't know, a little surprise to me that Benson follows that play so well. It's there's the hustle from Doan, and then there's the hustle from Benson as well to get in a spot to allow him to make that play to him.
Yeah, when you break it down, there's a lot of things. You look at the hustle to get up there. You look at, I think the Boston guys think, well, we got two guys going back here. This is going to be our puck. We're going to be breaking out. No need to get in any type of defensive structure. And all of a sudden, that turns out to be our puck. We get first touch. We take a hell of a hit to make a heck of a play, and no hesitation by Benson to rip the shot. And he found a good enough mark that it went in the back of the net. So, from Boston's side to our side of it, it was a play that was a game changer.
Benson starting to maybe get a reputation around the league as, a pest and a guy that's tough to play against. How did you think his playoffs went from game 1 through to game 6? Did you see growth? Were you pleased with what it was start to finish?
In a real hard series where, a lot of the play was just inside the offensive zone, or a lot of the plays were forecheck type plays where we had to make sure we got pucks in behind them. They pretty well had numbers back every time. His forecheck pressure and his relentless effort on the puck were the type of chances that we were going to get inside the game. And from the top of the circle down, himself, Doan, they're probably two of our best at hunting pucks, staying on pucks, creating turnovers. And, I thought as the series went on and we realized how hard this was going to get from the top of the circles down, our lines, from our net front presence, you look at the Samuelson goal where you can't see the goaltender, and it is just a seeing eye dog. Our guys bought into, getting around net front, making sure the goalie can't see the number of shots that we need to take to end up scoring goals. But in Benson's front, the start of the series to the end, for a guy with no experience and as young as he was, I thought there was tremendous growth.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff. Josh Norris back in the lineup and centering that line. He gets the empty netter. How did you think his return went?
Well, you look at what the line did inside the game. Sometimes it's not a numerical stat you're looking for. It's how well did that line play. And I thought that line gave us a real good night. They were in on some good opportunities. Obviously scored a big goal for us. Got the empty net goal. Defended well. In Norris's case, I think just getting back in, getting that game. I just think he'll be better. He'll be better for being in that game, and I think his game will continue to grow.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff. Lindy, do you have the update on Sam Carrick? The story was yesterday that he was going to see if he could get cleared to return to practice today. Did he get that clearance yet?
He did get the clearance. He will be allowed to join practice and see how that goes. Obviously that's the first step, which is great news. And we'll just see how practice goes for him.
Noah Ostlund's been ruled out for the series, though, right? No, that didn't just turn as well. Would have been great news if it did. But Noah Ostlund still, you think, out for the series?
Yeah, now with Carrick doing what he did, maybe I should never say out for the series, but
right.
it still looks that way.
And then question about Logan Stanley. Of course, he misses the game, didn't feel well. He's tracking to feel better. Is he good to go? And with an illness, of course, I would always wonder about the rest of the team. It's you're going to make sure it doesn't spread through any sort of locker room, whatever it might have been. But is Stanley okay?
Stanley is okay. He dealt with normal flu type things. You don't eat for a couple of days, you lose. I think he lost up to like 10 pounds. But back to normal. Skated with us day before yesterday. Got his off ice workout in. Looks good, feels good. Weight's back on. So he should be good to go.
Now, Montreal, it's a team that you know well in the division again, of course, and a season series that's split evenly, 2 wins aside. What do you think is different about Montreal than you had to deal with against Boston?
Well, I just think that, again, a good team. What is different, you've got a 50-goal scorer. Boston had Pasternak and Geekie. Top goal scorers. We got to look at a couple of their top guys where we got to make sure that we limit their opportunities. Power play that has run pretty good for them all year long. If you compare season stats, I think we were 3 for 10 on the power play against them. They were 3 for 11, or that could be the other way around. The goals for, goals against. We're pretty tight. Everything about the numbers made sense that you got 2 teams that were 2-2 against each other. They just beat a heck of a team. Tampa Bay is a heck of a team, a veteran team that they found a way to win the series. And you got to give that team a lot of credit. You got to give Marty St. Louis a lot of credit for the job he's done with that group of guys. We've got basically 2 young teams going at it here that going to be great hockey.
It seems like the outside hockey world expects this series to be a fast series, a skating series, maybe a little bit different than your first matchup. Do you agree? Do you feel like it'll be a different style of hockey that's played back and forth?
I do agree. In part, I think playoffs bring out tougher defensive style for all teams, realizing that you're on the verge of winning a series, taking a big advantage in the series. You get adjustments because you're playing the same team, game after game. I do think there'll be a lot more speed evident. I think they're going to come at us forechecking a lot harder than Boston did. I think that will be the biggest difference. And, off of that, a lot of times, if you're breaking the puck up well, your transition game can be better. And that would be the biggest difference I see right now.
When you guys got back at the airport, did you know the reception was there? I mean, you've seen it for the Bills over the years. Were you prepared for the Sabres fan arrival?
I was. I told guys there's going to be a good number of people waiting for us.
Yeah.
In the past, you win a series. I said, I don't know what that number is going to be, but there's going to be a good number of fans. And I thought it was so great. Fist pumped a couple guys, almost separated my shoulder because as I'm driving by, I got a little bit torqued too far back. But I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Yeah. We got to let everyone know if you're gonna give the coach a high five out the window, let go of his hand, right? Don't grab too long.
or I have to get my speed down from like 5 to 7 miles an hour, maybe down to 1 or 2.
There you go. All right, Lindy. Well, best of luck this series, and we'll talk again down the line.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff ahead of. You still there? I should have asked him about being a Jack Adams finalist. Sorry. He was asked about that this week, though. I know he said it's a testament to his whole staff. I forgot to get there. My apologies. 803-0550 on the Sabres and the Canadiens. The hockey world, I'm seeing a good amount of, I'll make a comparison here. Like this is Bills Ravens, Bills Bengals in a playoff series. Maybe not Bills Chiefs. Like that might be Colorado Minnesota over there, also a good series. But the hockey world expects this one to be lit, like really good, young, fast. Look out, not boring. No lead will be safe. That's every read I get when watching anybody break it down. That's what we can expect in this series.
Yeah, I think anybody that follows the league closely enough recognizes that these are two sort of rising star teams that are really kind of figuring it out in the playoffs with a lot going for them, that play an exciting brand. I think that's a big part of it too, that the way that they play is really sort of enticing to watch. And I think it's also a really tight series, so that's always going to, increase the intrigue. But yeah, I think this and Minnesota, Colorado are the two that everybody I think is watching. Like, watch these games. If you got to watch some hockey games, go watch these hockey games, because these are going to be some games played here. It's going to be really fun.
I'm trying to find, and I have not yet found it, like NHL Edge. Here we go. Yeah. I think I'm on it now. It's the idea that you can chart like speed bursts and how fast you skate. Like, all right, so skating speed. These two teams, there you go, like 22-mile-an-hour bursts and 20 to 20, how fast teams are going.
Right.
And the Sabres are marginally a little faster than Montreal. They have more bursts of 22 miles per hour, and they have more of 20 to 22 as well. Like, so, is that marginal stuff? Sure. But you can kind of, in these numbers, NHL, they track like how many miles the team skated in a game. And Montreal just played a much more open series than the Sabres did. The Sabres in Boston, it was, more about Boston. Right. Boston trying to make sure things didn't get too crazy. And Boston's counterpunch was not often really there. Like, I watched Carolina and Philly last night, and when you get, it's funny, like that's what we might get in this series. Carolina can maybe unlock anybody and outskate just about anybody. So they're unlocking Philly, and when they're rushing up the ice, they are going 1,000 miles per hour.
Right.
And we might get both these teams doing that here.
I think that's possible. I think you might get like trading back and forth. All right, you want to take your chance? Then we're going to make you pay if you don't score, because we're so fast. If we retrieve this puck, we're going to transition. Yeah. And Lindy touched on that in his answer about what he thinks is going to be different. The thing he said was, when you can transition with your D, that's how you play fast, and that is what I think both of these teams can do. I think the Sabres have. We've talked about it all year with their top four. I think Montreal's got a pretty comparable group. Noah Dobson's really good. Lane Hudson I've talked about a lot already. They've got, I just mentioned Dobson, whom I think Matheson is a good player. They've got guys that can do it. And so that's going to be strength on strength, I think. And, it's going to be really interesting to see who comes out on top.
Sam Carrick will practice today and kind of see how it goes.
Yep.
That's good news.
That's very good.
Carrick had 5 goals in 13 games. So he made a pretty big impression, just showed up and started scoring goals. He scored a goal in the Tampa game, the 8-7 Tampa game. Mm-hmm. Like, he came here after the deadline, and the Rangers fans said, "Oh, he's actually good. He can play." And that's a Carrick that scored 4 goals in 60 games for them. So, like, that gives me the impression that while we still are kind of getting to know Carrick, who does have another year on his contract next year.
Yep.
Like, he played 60 games for the Rangers, scored 4 goals, and the reports are like, you're going to like this player. Then he came here and scored 5 in 13. So, how big of a boost is that for this series?
I think
decent.
I think it would matter a lot for some intricacies in terms of face-offs and stuff, which Lindy again touched on and just now. Like, little stuff, you never know what's going to matter. And that's true.
He has been above 50% face-offs for his career.
Yeah.
And like he's bounced around. Like since he was in Anaheim through 2023-24 and got traded to Edmonton. And went Anaheim, Edmonton, Rangers, Buffalo. And that entire stretch, like his face-off win percentage is good. In Buffalo, it's 57%. And, Lindy wants to lean on somebody for a big draw. Like Carrick might be your guy over and over again, like
right.
whatever the situation. So good news that he's going to be potentially back if he's practicing. He got cleared. And if he's practicing today, I don't know how quickly he goes in the lineup, if that's game 1 or game 2. But
I would not to guess here about anything, but I would predict that you would see him practice, see how game 1 goes, and then maybe game 2 would be his spot if they feel like he had a good sort of few days getting back reintegrated, and then can step in.
Then there's always if they win,
right? Then
if they look great, do you kind of wait your turn? I wonder if Lindy will be less likely to do the wait your turn, given what happened with Norris and Östlund and how they had a game 2 where they could have both played.
Yep.
Or sorry, was that? Yeah, Östlund could have come back for game 2,
right?
But didn't. They waited on it and put him in game 3.
Yeah, exactly.
So you wonder if they would just all right, you know what? No, we're going to get our best guy in there. If he's ready, he's going in, regardless if we win or lose game 1.
Right.
803-0550, 1-888-550-2550. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out. I'm hanging out with you, leading up the Sabres, Canadiens. I did one little experiment here. I want to tell you about this. It's kind of funny. The team and who they're playing from round 1 to round 2. This won't be hard to understand. The Sabres played a team in round 1 that had 100 points. This round they play Montreal, who has 106 points. So the Sabres' degree of difficulty goes up 6 points. Okay?
Right.
Carolina. In the opening round, Carolina played Ottawa, 99 points. In this round, they play Philadelphia, 98 points. They actually go down 1.
Right.
Carolina gets an easier opponent. In the West, Colorado opened with the Kings, 90 points. They go to Minnesota. That's a 14-point jump up. And then Vegas is about the same as well. Vegas played Utah with 92 and Anaheim 92. The playoff structure, it's funny. We could talk about how it screws over one team or two teams. Minnesota-Dallas was a murderous matchup that should not have happened.
Yes.
While Anaheim-Edmonton did. And in the East, Pittsburgh-Philly should not have happened. Really, the best team to be in the playoffs is the team that's on the other side. Carolina here gets an easier round 2 opponent than round 1, which is just kind of incredible. And if it had gone 1 through 8, I don't know that it's easy to have guessed what would have happened. If they just did the traditional 1 through 8, the Sabres play Pittsburgh. I think they take care of Pittsburgh. No worries. Carolina plays Philly in the first round. Then you have Tampa, Ottawa, and Montreal, Boston. And who wins Tampa, Ottawa? Probably Tampa. Who wins Montreal, Boston? Probably Montreal.
Probably.
That might just be a straight 1, 2, 3, 4. And if that's the case, the Sabres are playing the Lightning.
Right.
So Lightning got a tougher opponent than they should have, and they paid for it. And Philadelphia got away with an easy victory. So maybe I want to kind of couch things as the Hurricanes might sweep their first 2 rounds. And it's you play the 2 softest teams to make the playoffs.
Right. So. Which is, I think, almost undeniably true aside from maybe the Kings.
Right.
They face
on the eastern side.
On the eastern side for sure.
Yeah.
They're the 2 weakest teams.
Well, then Vegas might play number 6 and number 7.
Right. Same thing.
Yeah. Same kind of thing. Yeah. 803-0550. Tonight you've got Colorado and Dallas going for game 2. That is the only game on the schedule, 8 o'clock tonight. And the first one was bonkers. Bonkers.
Yeah. Drugs. That
15 goals. Yeah. Give us a ring if you're worried about, Montreal invasion. We could talk about it. We'll get through it together. 803-0550, 1-888-550-2550 here on WGR.
For more comfort.
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garfalo, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. we don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
Give Belknap a ring.
Sal Capaccio on the West Her Hotline chatting with us about state of the roster. So, all right, running backs you had at the website yesterday, receivers today, and of course, like it's a position we talk about quite a bit. The Bills spent this offseason with very big investments at the position. Second highest draft pick they've ever drafted one under the Bean era with Skylar Bell. And, of course, the trade for DJ Moore. You know, Sal, as we look at this group, we spent a lot of time talking about Keon Coleman, and in the last 24, 48 hours, I've started to think about, of all the veterans they have and who might be the most to gain or lose, Josh Palmer probably wants to make sure he doesn't get lost in the mix here, right? 2 new bodies, and he's got to stay healthy, or else it might be between Palmer and Coleman on who gets a jersey, or Bell and Palmer and Coleman.
Well, I think when you look at the big picture, I think there's a couple of tiers here in this group. We know DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir are kind of your number 1, number 2 guy, however you want to slice it. They're going to be your main guys. They're on the team. They're going to do a lot for you. They're going to be targeted a lot. I mean, they're probably going to lead the team in receiver targets, DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir, however that shakes out. Then I think there's a line, and then there's 3 guys. Jeremy, it's Keon Coleman, Skylar Bell, and Joshua Palmer, and I agree with you. The question is, how do they fall in? What's the pecking order for those 3? Does it simply determine on a game-by-game basis, or does someone step up and say, no, I'm the next guy here? And I think a lot of that, to me, that's Keon Coleman's job if he can do it, if he wants it, if he can do everything he's supposed to do, be where he's supposed to be on time, and then translate it to the field. I think that if you ask the Bills, who would you love to have do that? Oh, my God, that'd be great if it was Keon Coleman. That being said, Joshua Palmer was signed last year to be a very big part of this offense, but the injuries were a bigger story for him. He gets hurt in that Atlanta game, but, he had bumps and bruises along the way, and it really just didn't work out for him last year. I think the Bills still believe he can be a really big part of what they do. Only 37 targets last year, 22 catches for 303 yards. That's just not what they signed him for. And they need more out of him. They need him to stay healthy. And I think Josh Palmer would love, it's just sometimes circumstance and happenstance and unfortunate luck in football. If he can stay healthy, though, he has every opportunity to be that next guy on the pecking order. And then there's Skylar Bell, who's the wild card. I think Skylar Bell's ready to play in the NFL. He's going to come in. He's going to play. I don't know if he's ready to be that number 3 or 4 guy on a team yet. That's up to him to come into training camp and show that. But I do think you're looking at Coleman, Palmer, and Bell, just kind of shake them up, and let's see where it falls. But honestly, it's actually pretty clear when you look at the depth chart right now, to me, there's 5 guys. It's Moore, Shakir, Coleman, Palmer, Bell. I think everybody after that is probably, and that's only because Tyrell Shavers is dealing with the injury, right? I don't expect him to be ready right away. I mean, even Brandon Beane said it's going to take a while because it was a January ACL tear. So if you look at the roster, I think there's 5 guys who are kind of on the in looking out, Moore, Shakir, Coleman, Palmer, Bell. 5 guys on the out looking in, counting Shavers' injury, him, Hardman, Gosnell, Virgil, and Sherfield.
Tomorrow, face-off set for 7 o'clock at KeyBank Center against the Montreal Canadiens. Head coach Lindy Ruff just joined Jeremy and gave an update on forward Sam Carrick. He will be practicing today. He was cleared to practice. So for more information, Paul Hamilton has a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. And in case you missed it, you You can find Lindy Ruff's conversation with Jeremy on demand at WGR550.com. Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin, one of the 3 finalists for the Bill Masterson Trophy, player that best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. Some scores from last night in the playoffs. Carolina beat the Flyers 3-2 in overtime. They hold a 2-0 series lead, and Vegas beat Anaheim 3-1. They have a series lead of 1-0. Sal Capaccio continuing his State of the Bills series at our website, WGR550.com. The wide receivers are the latest position group around the NFL. The Packers signed quarterback Tyrod Taylor, formerly of the Jets. Baltimore signing Skylar Thompson. That's 5 quarterbacks in the Ravens roster. And Texans CEO Cal McNair said the Texans fully committed to C.J. Stroud. Catch every take, every reaction, and every big moment live. Now on YouTube with Jeremy and Joe in the morning, and show up in the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet, with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Walker scoops it up, speeding through center. Walker in over the line, got it for Hall. Hall, strong move coming in toward the net. They score! Taylor Hall wins it in Game 2. Jackson Blake with all 3 goals.
Taylor Hall, the overtime winner. Give it a second, Ray. Give it a second. It's an overtime winner, right? Like, give it a second.
He jumped right in there.
Give it a second. It's okay. Great guy. Give it a minute. I hadn't heard that. Yeah. Jeremy and Joe's out on leave. All right, so the market is crazy. Prices are out of control. Of course, I'm talking about the beer saber. When are we going to get a beer saber in here? How is this going to happen?
The last game I went to, I tried.
They're definitely sold out, right?
Sold out. And somehow this guy had 8 next to me. Like I said,
8?
He was selling them on eBay in the seats.
That's the true crime.
Oh.
That's the real crime.
That is like...
Forget about ticket markup. Hoarding beer sabers is a crime.
Yeah.
That should be a crime.
Yeah. And the fact that he's selling them sitting next to me
in the
is
seats.
crazy. Yes.
That's price gouging.
That's brutal.
That's selling water on the highway during a blizzard. You can't do that.
Not only
you can't sell a
selling
beer
to
saber
fans.
in the stands for a marked up price. Person
After they're sold out.
Should be arrested. I am approaching the beer saber kind of like, I don't know, when PS5 comes out or something. And initially they're expensive and you just can't get them. I'm like, all right, I'll wait a while. Eventually, in theory, we will all be able to get one.
Hopefully.
You would think so.
We got to get on this like with an investigative report. We got to get somebody down there.
We need boots on the ground at KeyBank. We got to figure this out.
Here's a question. Why have they not partnered with a bar to come to blank and come get a beer saber for an away game?
The one attached to the building, maybe?
We're gonna go to this. Yeah, right. The one attached to the building maybe would be a good place to start. We're gonna do an away game watch party, which they're also not doing, which is crazy. And come get your beer sabers because I know we've been unable to do them in the arena. They sell out so fast. Here's another opportunity.
I'm seeing a couple of knockoff. The chat suggests there's a knockoff version.
There are knockoff.
I promise you, a knockoff version is the same.
Right.
It's just a sort of beer. That's it.
It's true.
I know that Ryan Whitney went viral for his really lame attempt to chug.
Yes.
Which he didn't want to spill it on himself. He'd already done that earlier. I get that, but this shouldn't be a scandal. But it's round 2. Where are the sabers?
It's true.
Where are our beer sabers? How am I seeing people on the Jumbotron chug them, and they're not readily available for more people?
People are just bringing them in.
You're allowed to bring them back in.
Yeah.
I know.
It's crazy.
Where are they for the rest of us?
Right. What if we need them? Please. Someone.
People are trying to 3D print them, like you were saying.
I have a
But
tiny little actual saber in my office.
He does.
This was from.
Is that like a cocktail skewer
that thing
or
up.
something?
This was from
Yeah,
when.
you ordered a drink and there were olives on that thing?
No, when they came in to show us the Tage Parm.
Oh, yeah.
They had this in one
There
of
it
the
is.
sandwiches. And I don't know why I did this, but I really did. I wrote names on it for some reason and have kept it in my office ever since.
What are the names?
It's Luukkonen, Benson, Norris, and Thompson.
Wow.
You don't remember what you wrote them down for?
I have no idea why I wrote them. I wrote them on the Saber and then have had it sitting next to me in here ever since.
Wow.
When did that happen? I wonder how closely that coincides with them getting good and whether I need to make this some sort of holy object.
Right.
Because if they got good after I did this, then I'm going to feel like I need to,
Luukkonen, Benson, Norris, and who?
Thompson. Why that? That's a weird group.
Yeah, you just wrote their names on that.
I just wrote names on
on the cocktail skewer saber.
I don't know why I did
What
that.
else? What else could we make a saber in our lives? Like really, let's lean. This is Spaceballs, the placemat. Spaceballs, the
vacuum. Give me a Saber vacuum.
I saw the bread one. The bread one went viral for reasons.
Yes.
You saw that? Reasons.
Yes.
Can we make an ice scraper that is a saber?
100%. Sure.
Can we make we need more things in our. The Sabres need to be taking advantage of this moment and sell everything in the form of a sword.
Why don't we have a kitchen knife set of sabers? Like little mini sabers to use as your steak knives or something?
How about, can I make a saber popsicle? Are there why are there not saber popsicles? Can they be frozen in that form?
Saber golf clubs.
Saber golf.
Saber golf.
Somebody find a way.
I feel like that might be
dangerous.
The aerodynamics would be all off on that one, I feel like.
Might be good.
What else can you do?
Slice through the air.
We need more
back scratcher.
Oh, yeah.
That'll work.
Shout out bullpen.
We need more beer sabers. And round 2, last I knew, there was another drop, which would have been near the end of the regular season, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me the manufacturer can't make any more? The chat has all the info on this, of course. You ever have a question in your life, you come to our YouTube channel, go into the bullpen, ask it any question. Who needs Chat GPT? You just ask the bullpen, they're going to have answers for you.
Drop the GPT.
Right.
Just ask chat.
Right. Just ask the chat. Are they right answers? It doesn't matter. They're convinced these answers are the right answers.
Oh, yeah.
The manufacturer couldn't make enough beer sabers. Well, then change manufacturers.
Fire them.
Who wants to do it? We need some beer sabers made.
Apparently, you have to watch out for the homemade ones, though, because if they're made with some PLA filament, it might not be food grade or drink grade.
Yeah,
You might be drinking microplastic.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Aren't we all drinking microplastic?
I was just thinking,
what am I saying?
isn't that happening, though?
I didn't even watch the Netflix show about it because it's basically everything in your entire life has plastic and you've eaten it.
Right.
All right, well.
You're going to die now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
I accept that. Can the Sabres win the cup before that happens? It'd be nice.
It's coming for us all anyways.
Yeah.
Did you see Carolina had the beer skates? They
I
launched
do
those.
see the beer skate. That's fine.
It's
It's
kind
fine.
of a stupid
derivative.
thing.
It's more practical.
It's a mug.
It's more of a Stein, and practicalities there. But the skate doesn't make them any different.
Yeah.
So we could have a beer skate. Anybody could have a beer skate.
That's true.
Oh, if they stop making beer sabers and go to beer skates, I'm gonna be upset.
Now I'm trying to figure out which teams could also make a beer receptacle out of their name. Who else could do it? Like the Canadiens, not doing it.
No.
The Panthers could do a palm tree.
You could try to do a palm tree. That would be more. Feels like it'd be a cocktail.
Yeah, like a margarita or something.
Lightning bolt. You could do like that
For sure.
Might
That'd
look
be cool.
It would look like a bong,
sure.
though.
That would.
Right? Is there a penguin, a beer flyer, a beer Bruin, Red Wings, Blue Jackets?
Ugh.
We might have the best drink-based.
The Mammoth Tusk.
The St. Louis Blues could probably get away with it. Have a little note.
Mm-hmm.
Could probably do something.
Could the Kings do some sort of fancy cup to be
Like a chalice?
The King's chalice?
That would be not a bad
That'd be
idea.
cool.
That's a pretty good idea, I feel like.
Make with the beer sabers. Where are they?
Why don't people
If we
pay us
complain
to do
loud
this?
enough, I will get a text about this in the next 15 minutes. We're like, hey, lay off.
Right.
We're trying. Anyway.
We know it's probably not your fault.
No, I know. There's probably circumstances.
I wonder if they'll make variants, like a black and red one or something like that.
I've seen a knockoff black and red
yeah,
one.
I've seen the knockoff black and red one.
I mean, I've got a wagon that holds my chicken tenders. I just
Right.
want I'm jealous. I want one of these beer sabers. I want to try and chug. I want to pour it on my face if I have to.
I know. I have nenever gotten the opportunity because of all the I'm working at all the home games. I'm at the press box, so I can't like go find one.
You know the real $1 billion idea, not billion, but whatever, is could this work? All right, we're deep.
We are.
You know how they if you have a bottle of wine, you can put like an aerator on it, so when you pour it, air gets through it and it comes out slower. Can I get someone to have a little attachment on the end of the beer saber that could make that happen? Would that work? Where I could then tip it all the way back and it comes out at a regular rate?
Ooh.
There's no engineer ready to take on this challenge.
I've been thinking about how to fix that beer saber issue too, because it's a problem.
It seems like it's a bit of a problem we all just accept and it's fine. But is there someone ready to, reinvent the light bulb here? Like, wow, now everybody at the arena is drinking out of sabers because it's much more doable.
Right? It's like you got to stick the straw into, like, if you're trying to chug a beer out of a bottle, you got to stick the straw in and poke the other end out so that air can get in there.
Yeah.
Flows easy.
This is where I might want to say something to the effect of, boy, I wonder what it would sound like if they were playing Swords of 1,000 Men while people raised literal swords into the air.
So cool.
So right there for everybody. 803-0550 if you want to join us. What
Remember
else?
how mad we were about that?
Yeah.
Song? We weren't mad, but like, what? It's just how far we've come.
I know.
Like,
yeah, listen, you score a lot of goals, people get over whatever.
Yeah, it's really, really something.
Turn a lot of these logos into growlers. Could I do a leaf?
3 to 4 days. I have been in contact with about 20 people who work in the National Hockey League, many of whom are prominent names that we would all know. And of the 20 people I spoke to, one was supportive of John's hiring, and the other 19 thought it was a sham, to be perfectly honest. Words were used like con artist, liar, salesman. How did you come to a different conclusion that I was able to come to in a very short time?
I must have talked to different people.
It's a solid answer.
It's a good answer.
But the question tells the story, I guess.
Good Lord, the question, what are we doing in that room? I mean, dude, ask the question, but wow, was that ever aggressive? 20 people, and one of them, all but one, said you're a sham and a con artist?
Yep.
Guys, what do you think you're accomplishing by doing that? By asking that question, you are making everything about yourself, the reporter. I'm not even going to say his name because I don't think it deserves it. Ask a question. Your job is to ask a question to try and get information to help inform the fan base. That is getting off on hearing yourself become the center of the universe for a day.
Well, you're definitely taking you're using the moment there.
I think it's a joke.
Well, what I want to know is, like, looking back at Chayka, he was the GM of the Coyotes, right? At a very young age. He's still
26
young.
He got hired.
Right. He's in Arizona, he's running the organization for the league. Like, I never really know how that works. I mean, Arizona was always a mess. I almost want to treat it like it was an AHL franchise in the NHL. They're playing in a 5,000-seat arena. Is that while he was there?
Yes, and his main job, he got hired to run the biggest gong show of an organization that the NHL has maybe ever seen at 26, and it didn't go well, and he made some mistakes, and that is perfectly true and concerning. But to have the question phrased in that way, so accusatorily, towards the guy, and Chayka's sitting right next to him.
Yeah.
You want to ask somebody that question, ask Chayka that question.
Yeah.
Why are you saying that to him and not giving him the opportunity to rebut?
I think what's doing a lot of work in this story is that Shane Doan doesn't like him.
Good for Shane Doan.
That's it. Like, Shane Doan's out, and he will not be a part of the team. He's been on the Leafs staff to some degree, and, like, he won't be back. And I think what you have is, like, well, if that guy says it's bad, it's got to be bad. And he might be right.
Sure.
It's certainly, the Leafs, I don't know. It all fell apart real fast. Who knows?
Yeah.
What is John Chayka's first move? Is he thrust into a Kevin Adams spot where it's
he's going to have to trade Matthews?
Yeah, trade Matthews. Yeah, we're gonna bring this guy in to trade Matthews.
Right. And the fact, and I tweeted about this earlier, and you mentioned it, the fact that these are the kind of questions that we're grilling a new GM about. that has resurfaced for the first time after having some mild not mild. He got his team in some hot water.
Sure.
There was controversy.
The phrase that's being used is he has a rap sheet.
Sure.
Now, what is the rap sheet?
The rap
tampering?
sheet, it was a little bit of tampering. He breached his contract to talk to another team early, which everybody does. And he held a sort of impromptu testing combine for players before the draft.
It's a little bit of a liberal use of the term rap sheet to me.
You know what's a rap sheet? What happened in Chicago. That's a rap sheet. And Joel Quenneville and Stan Bowman both are running teams right now. Quenneville's behind a bench, and Bowman's got the best player in the league on his team. And nobody went half as far to ask any of them, how did you grow as a person? What did you learn from your experience? You heard that asked of Chayka countless times, and you got this guy asking a question like that, and nobody can be bothered to give Joel Quenneville a hard time? Give me a break. It's offensive and disgusting and horrifying and frankly embarrassing for everyone that involves themselves with the league. I'm embarrassed to cover this league because of this kind of thing. It's a joke. It is endlessly frustrating because what happened in Chicago should bar you from ever having any kind of close chance to make another appearance in the NHL. And these guys got back in after what? 7 years?
Yep.
And some community service? Give me a break. You're giving John Chayka a hard time. Take a hike. You don't like him because he thinks different. That's why you don't like him. And you think you can bully him out.
You might also think that he hasn't done enough. He hasn't cut his teeth. He hasn't risen up the right way. He got his job earlier, too young. He's still too young. He's still too inexperienced.
Sure, you can think all that.
Yep.
But you can treat it with respect in the way that you treated Joel Quenneville and Stan Bowman.
Yeah, like the idea of a sham hiring. What even is a sham? Like that it's a conspiracy that the owner's son got the job. That's a sham. Like what's the sham here? A guy that
Ty Domi's friends with him.
Is it a sham that they didn't give the GM job to Peter Chiarelli, who gets every third job out there?
Exactly.
Like is Chayka? I mean, Chayka actually is a retread, but the league generally has about 38 men that can have the 32 jobs, and that's it. So they're definitely freaking out.
They're freaking out, and I get it. And the hire can have its problems, but I just the juxtaposition of the way that Chayka is treated versus the way that the Blackhawks formers are treated, to me, is disgusting.
803-0550 and 1-888-552-550. Get more of your calls in here. Game 1 tomorrow here on WGR. The one thing that Montreal has over the Sabres, I think you would say, is they have a number of paths in goal that get them there.
Yeah.
And the Sabres, right now it's Alex Lyon, and that's going great.
It is. It's going great, and that's all you need right now.
Right. That's what you need right now. But Montreal has multiple roads for future goaltending kind of in place.
Fowler and Dobish both are, I think, number one level goaltenders in the league. Like true number one. Like play 57 to 65 games a year, guys.
Yeah.
Fowler, I think, is really special. He's a little younger than Dobish, but even Dobish himself is a really, really impressive goaltender to watch. So that's definitely a place where they've got a leg up.
What's the advanced scout saying so far?
Very aggressive. Like, I almost want to call him a power goalie.
So is this a scenario where it actually is good to overpass the puck?
Yes, I think that may be exactly correct, because he will try and stop you from getting a grade A chance behind him. And if you can make a miss on that or guess on that, he's going to be in tough shape. He is athletic enough to have a chance, but he and that's why he's able to be that aggressive. But I think he's gettable in terms of make him make a bad read and then beat him from there, because that's where you can really get around him and he can get into some squirrely action. When he gets behind it, he gets a little chasey and sort of loses structure, I'll say. But he's really, really talented, smart, skates really well, athletic, big, all of it. He's got all of it. He's a good goalie.
All right. Happy Tuesday. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out on leave. He is, I checked in, like, how are things? Like, I got some diaper changing stories. I'm like, oh, I'll be ready to hear those when the time comes. So, he's out on leave. Back the week after next is the plan. Sabres and Canadians, game 1 tomorrow. Game 2 Friday. Off we go. It's either a game night or reacting to a game for the next, for the foreseeable future, I should say. Whew, no pressure. No pressure. Got an interesting take on, like, the idea of the Red Sea takeover, if it's going to happen. Get that when we get back. 803-0550, 1-888-550-2550 to join us on WGR. We got some time here on the Bills because Sal's rolling through his series, State of the Roster. And today at WGR, it's wide receiver. But, Sal, we didn't talk yesterday, so let's do running back first because you had running back as State of the Bills, running back James Cook, of course, led the league in rushing. And where the rest of the roster looks like, what it looks like at the running back position. It might have been the quietest offseason ever for running back for this team because, you know, what changes were made is the biggest news that there was a fullback added last week.
Yeah, and I actually touch on the fullback. We can talk about both those positions because I included them both in my article. I think last year was also pretty quiet for running back because, you know, they had drafted Ray Davis the year before that. Although I think Ty Johnson came back last year in a free agent contract, but they really didn't do anything other than that.
Yeah.
And then, well, I guess I shouldn't say that because James Cook had his.
That's right.
Had his. Yeah, that was loud, but they didn't make any additions, right?
His hold
and we thought
in.
that maybe, right? We thought, well, could they move on from him? But either way, you're right, Jeremy. You know, I think the Bills feel very, very, very good about their running back room, and why wouldn't they? Right? They have the league's leading rusher. You know, first player to do it in this uniform since O.J. Simpson, which is incredible. And James Cook carried the ball 309 times last year. I mean, you know, I still think about, like, no one saw that coming. Who saw James Cook carrying the ball over 300 times at his size, paying him that much money on a you know, longer term deal, I guess, you know, 4-year extension? I certainly didn't. I did not think that would happen. So, I mean, good for James Cook to be able to do what he was, you know, able to do last year. And I think that, you know, you go into this year thinking, why not? Why not repeat something like that? I mean, the question might be, and this is not a running back question, it might be just more of a philosophical question, how much they want to lean on that versus throwing and Josh Allen and all that, but we'll sort that out as the year goes on. But there's clearly, when you do state of the running back, there's clearly a pecking order. We know who the top guy is. It's James Cook.
Yeah.
The question after him is, does Ty Johnson or Ray Davis become more of the number 2 guy? Because last year it kind of shifted. Ray Davis went from 127 carries to 58. You know, I mean, does that say the same? Does he get more of a workload? What were the reasons for that? And then he finds this role as a kick returner, becomes the best in the league at it. He becomes an all-pro kick returner. Ty Johnson's a third down back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ray Davis get more carries this year, but maybe this is the plan again this year, where it's more of the Ty Johnson show behind, you know, James Cook than it is Ray Davis. So it's really interesting how this could shake out.
It was a fast start, which of course is important, but like to me, Boston starts to push back there. And, you know, over the course of a long season, do you feel like this team has gained a lot of experience in moments like that?
For sure. You know, I think we've always talked about, you know, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And the start of the third period got a little bit uncomfortable. We weren't handling the puck really well. I felt we were dealing with a little bit of nerves. You know, that little bit of feeling we got a 2-1 lead. We're 20 minutes away here. But you still have to play. You still have to stay on your toes. We dealt with their push okay, and I think part of that push was self-inflicted by the way we handled the puck. We got through it. You know, I think the Benson goal is a goal that, you know, I think I'll remember forever because of the work that went into that goal and the effort to get down ice, take the hit, make the play. Everything about that goal was about our season, about how hard you have to work and don't quit on a play, whether it's forechecking, whether it's back checking. You never know what will end up being the difference in the game. And that play was at that time when we weren't generating much. We were getting outshot. The effort on that play was something that, I thought it pushed us to a place where, you know, now we got Boston where we need him. And I thought the last 13 minutes after that was a clinic.
Yeah.
Game 1, round 2, 1 day out tomorrow. Face-off set for 7 o'clock at KeyBank Center. Head coach Lindy Ruff just joined Jeremy White in the last hour. Gave an update on forward Sam Carrick, saying he is cleared to practice. So we'll be awaiting more on that. For more information on yesterday's practice and all the other happenings, you can visit Paul Hamilton's piece on our website, WGR550.com. And for Lindy Ruff's conversation with Jeremy, you can find that on demand as well. Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin, one of the 3 finalists for the Bill Masterson Trophy, the player that best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. Some scores from the NHL playoffs last night. Carolina beat the Flyers 3-2 in overtime. They hold a 2-0 series lead. Vegas beat Anaheim 3-1. They lead their series 1-0. Sal Capaccio continuing his State of the Bills series at our website, WGR550.com. The wide receivers are the latest position group. You can find his conversation with Jeremy on demand as well, breaking that down. Around the NFL, the Packers signed quarterback Tyrod Taylor, formerly of the Jets. Baltimore signing Skylar Thompson. That's 5 quarterbacks on the roster for them. Texans CEO Cal McNair said the Texans are fully committed to C.J. Stroud. You can catch every take, every reaction, and every big Buffalo sports moment live now on YouTube with Jeremy and Joe in the morning and Show Up in the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Lindy, do you have the update on Sam Carrick? The story was yesterday that he was going to see if he could get cleared to return to practice today. Did he get that clearance yet?
He did get the clearance. He will be allowed to join practice.
Sam Carrick, now the Undertaker. Could be back. We'll see how soon he gets back. But that was the update. Jeremy and Joe, good morning. Sabres and Canadians. I have a little thread to pull on here on the NHL playoffs in a moment. We'll get to some of that. Phone calls as well, 803-0550 if you want to jump in on, really anything. Schedule could come out in football a week from today. If you missed Sal at 7 o'clock, we chatted with him about the state of the Bills roster. He's doing his series, and we ran through receivers and running backs today. And, still to come for him, tight ends and offensive line on the offensive side of the ball. But, talking beer sabers, talking everything. The Sea of Red, the takeover. On our first segment, we had a caller, Tony. He's coming, wearing red, white, and blue. Somebody gave him a ticket for free. The story was shady, but, hey, we'll see him at the game no matter what, according to him. If you're worried about the Montreal takeover, the thing I'm going to continue to look at. So, you can some of these secondary sites list trends, and one of them I'm on, you can track how many tickets are available. And the number of tickets available for this game, there's a big number on the secondary market. It went all the way up to 3,600, roughly, tickets available on this app. That it's not moving tells me the tickets are for sale but not selling. So I don't know. I would expect to see the inventory drop if, in fact, they're being sold unless, more and more keep getting listed. I don't know. I can't decide if I'm going to worry too much about how many Montreal fans will be in the building. I would say this, though. Artie tweeted in, Bills fans would never do this. To which I would say, well, Bills fans would never be faced with this. There's really no comparison. There's not a super passionate fan base that could come here and buy tickets. Who would it be? What team would do it? There's no such thing.
Aren't the Bills that to other teams? That's pretty much what it is, right? The Mafia travels well. That's what everyone says.
Mafia travels well, but the Bills aren't the Cowboys. The Bills aren't the Steelers. And I'm thinking of the fan bases that would travel the best. Montreal hockey, think of another team in sports that would rival it. The Leafs might. If the Leafs made the Cup final, do you know how many different buildings they would take over for people to see that? It would take over a lot of them.
Yeah,
there are a couple teams that would qualify for this specific example.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the Bills, there's no NFL team, so you could say Bills fans wouldn't. If the Montreal Canadiens of football came in and tried to buy up first-round playoff tickets, I got news for you. I think they might get 5,000 people in the building.
Yeah,
maybe 10. I don't want to sit here and say that what am I looking for here? A placeholder, vague idea of a Bills fan is more principled than this placeholder, vague idea of a Saber fan.
Right.
Never mind that these might not even be Sabres fans that are selling tickets. So, there are other people that do make it into the stadium. It's just not the same. There's not an equal comparison to make with the Montreal Canadiens. That's all.
I agree with that. I think it's the most you should ever be concerned about this happening for any of your teams. Like, this is the time it would happen.
It's also very normal to freak out. Remember the perfect game, a very, very cold night in Buffalo?
Yes.
In New England, they were making fun of Bills fans because tickets to that game went for as low as $30.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, let's all, real quick, let's back off the idea that if you could get $700 for your ticket, you wouldn't sell it when you could have gotten into that game for $30.
Right.
I don't know. The markets, the variables, I don't know what to do with it. I really don't know. I think if you have tickets and you want to unload them, find a Saber fan, do that. I wouldn't charge them a markup. I'd charge what you got paid or what you paid for them. But everyone can do what they want.
Right. If you need, or if you're having trouble finding a Saber fan that's willing to buy them, like, text us at this point.
Well,
like,
it depends because I don't know any Saber fan that's going to buy a 200 level ticket. But
right.
And actually, I don't know Saber fan personally. I don't know. I don't know who would pay $400 for a ticket to a game like this anyway. Like, there are 7 games
just
in the
to
series.
Connect people. I'll put a tweet out. Hey, DM me if you need a ticket and you're willing to pay, and DM me if you have a ticket you're willing to sell.
Yeah.
I'll be a go-between. Fine. It can happen. I think we're going to be fine.
Devin in Rochester. Devin, good morning.
Hey, good morning. I just caught the first part where you were like, Bills fans would never do this. And granted, I am way more of a Bills fan than Sabres. I'm jumping on the bandwagon like a lot of people. But I remember being so irked at the Bengals game because if you remember, that was the year there was going to be a neutral site AFC championship game. So I think a lot of people had gone on and purchased AFC championship game tickets. And I remember, I think the Bengals scored on the first 2 consecutive drives, and they had a wall of fans behind the Cincinnati bench. And I just remember thinking, this is annoying. But, yeah, I mean, it's like, what are you going to do about it, right?
Right. How many do you think were there that day?
How many? It was a lot. I couldn't give you an exact number, but I remember it was an inordinate amount compared to a regular game because I'm pretty sure leading up to that was the AFC Championship game was going to be played in the Georgia Dome.
Right.
And it like people would go online and get in the queue to buy tickets for the title game, thinking Buffalo was just gonna, it was gonna be Bills and Chiefs. And I'll just never forget. Like, I cannot believe how many Bengals fans are at this game.
Yeah. Thanks, Devin. Did not get to see that neutral site game. That would have been something else. Something to behold. Speaking of panics, remember when that was suggested and then the league was going to go to neutral site AFC and NFC championship games? Oh. An idea that, like, never, ever made any sense?
No.
A lot of panic right now. Let's get in the building. Let's see the numbers. I would anticipate Friday night might have more than Wednesday. It's a weekend.
Right.
I'll be there Friday. I'm not selling my ticket to somebody.
I'll be there all the time,
yeah.
folks.
Yeah, you're back up in the press box.
I'll be back up, doing post-game with Brian Koziel.
I got an interesting note for you I think you'll appreciate in a moment. Let's get to David in New York City first, though. Something I've noticed in the playoffs. David, go ahead. You're on WGR.
Hey, good morning, fellas. Thanks for having me. Calling in to get in line and rant a little bit about the power play here, but we're headed into a game that Vegas basically has us pick on. The stats, darling, say we're slightly favored. And so naturally what you're going to look at as the X factor in this series comes down to goaltending and special teams. Yeah, you say what you want about our penalty kill. It's not the source of concern. But when I look at the power play, we're down Ostlund, who looked like he made some improvements to that. We're gonna need power play goals if we want to win this series. And my question for you is, do you think at some point it makes sense to switch Byram, who ran a power play unit in Colorado, which is one of the highest, most efficient power plays that we've seen in the past 10 years, with Rasmus Dahlin to shake things up and hopefully get some better looks than what they're getting from the perimeter at the moment?
Yeah. It's an idea.
It is an idea.
It's an idea. And,
I could see it if
Has Colorado's power play gone in the tank since he left, by the way? Because it's not good this year.
They had a really good one
last
for a couple
year?
years
Okay.
after that, I think.
Yeah,
they definitely have struggled more. I don't think that's an issue with Cale Makar.
No, I don't think so either.
I think that's just probably more of a scheme issue. They got the talent. Dahlin, I I don't hate the idea of moving him off of that point. I don't think he's a guy you want to take off the unit. I think he's too creative, too good with the puck on his stick to not have out there. They played around with him on a flank, on like a half wall, and I really am enticed by that idea. I think that him sort of facing a play, like facing the whole ice and letting him sort of take it in and see, and maybe a little more room up in that sort of higher ice, but on the side, might be pretty hot. So if you wanted to do a Byram and Dahlin on that top unit, I don't know who you're taking off at that point. Is that Norris? Is that who? I don't know who you want to do there, but I would be tempted by that. I don't think I'm ever really going to be ready to say Dahlin off the power play entirely. I just think he's too talented. I know it has not been great for him, and he's not necessarily been a power play producer at the level you would want, but he's a witch. He's going to figure it out. Like, he's going to make plays. You saw it on the one power play goal he scored. Like, just to have the wherewithal to jump down and read that play is really impressive. So I wouldn't want to move him off of it, but I don't hate the idea of getting Byram out there too, because I think he's been red hot.
803-0550. Interesting idea. So here's a fun little experiment I've got for you. Looking at the playoffs right now, the 8 teams left. We're down to 8 teams now that we're into the second round. If I were to go into whatever, I want to say like NHL fan circles and say, name starting goaltenders in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Family Feud. 100 people, 100 hockey fans asked, name a starting goalie in the NHL.
Okay.
How many of these names would be on the list? Freddie Anderson, Alex Lyon, Dan Vladar, Jacob Dobesh, Scott Wedgwood, Carter Hart, Lucas Dostal, Jesper Wallstedt. Right?
Yeah.
Well, how many make the list?
I mean, Anderson maybe because he was a Leaf for a long time.
Okay.
That might be the end of it.
Right.
Like, I know all those guys because I'm a psychotic, crazy person.
Right, but these are not household names.
No.
And I can remember when maybe like 15 years ago, it was like, Corey Crawford. It turns out you don't need the superstar in net. And then Antoni Niemi, the Hawks did that. And it's not to say anything about the ability of these players. Like Lyons' goals against has been great. He's number 2 in the NHL in the postseason right now. And Freddie Anderson, I think, is number 1 if I just checked. Mm-hmm. And like you just got guys that have shown up and played well. And the 8 teams remaining, there is not, boy, what's the biggest salary in this group?
Ooh.
Pull that up.
Luukkonen?
Right. I mean,
Anderson might be a little more expensive, but not by much. It's not a guy making much money on that list that I can think of.
I'll pull up the old spot track, rankings of contracts, because like the biggest contract, AAV at goalie in the playoffs. This will be a fun one to find out. This is where you find out somebody's making a lot more than we realize.
Right.
But like Shesterkin's making 11.5.
Correct.
The highest paid goaltender still in the playoffs of that list that I just mentioned. I'm still scrolling. I'm into
Dostal, maybe?
I'm into the 20s. Luukkonen is above all of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still going. Vladar 3.3.
Dude.
Wedgwood 2.5. Wallstedt and Husso 2.2.
Yeah.
Carter Hart 2 million. Lyon 1.5. Where's Freddie Anderson here? Dobesh less than $1 million.
Yeah, rookie deal.
I might have passed Anderson. I got to find him just because it doesn't. I feel like he can't.
I think he's around 4.
Yeah,
something like that. Here.
Crazy though. They're like that's what you're getting out of these remaining playoff teams is goalies on the cheap.
Yeah, it is a trend. I mean, it is a thing that people have noticed.
Anderson's 2.75.
Right. Okay. Wow. There's a lot of reasons for this, and goalies are getting asked about this a lot. I heard Lundqvist talk about this. I've heard a lot of guys talking about it, but it is
okay. Here's the highest paid. Lucas Dostal is 6.5.
Okay, Dostal. Yeah,
Dostal is 6.5. He's the highest paid goalie in the playoffs at 6.5, and nobody else comes in until we get into the 3s.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Vladar 3.3.
Really crazy, because I mean, it's such an interesting position to say. If it's good, then you're good, and if it's bad, you'll never win. And yet they are the most, I would say, undervalued, underappreciated in many ways positions in all of sports. I mean, they get paid far less than anyone in the league. The best guy makes 11.5, and that's, what does McDavid make? 14?
I think McDavid only makes 12, but that's because he took a big discount.
Kaprizov is 16.
Yeah.
So, all right, what? The best goalie in the league is not worth $5 million less in value than the best winger.
Don't you feel like these teams want to have the peace of mind, but they're afraid of the voodoo?
That's exactly what
you're paying for is peace of mind. And when we opened up these playoffs, why did people pick Tampa to beat Montreal? And why did not everybody pick Boston to beat Buffalo? But what was their chance? It's like, well, why did Boston think it was the perfect opponent? Because they did not have a goalie. The Sabres did not have a goalie that Boston would trust. And we trust Swayman. Tampa, we trust Vasilevsky. On and on. Like, you go through the playoffs, and if you see a goalie that you trust, that's kind of who gets the benefit of the doubt. And now, like Lyon versus Dobesh, who should you trust? Dobesh might be a higher Blackwood. Mackenzie Blackwood makes 5 for the Avs. Well, he's not playing.
He's not even their starter.
Right, he's not playing.
It's the same as Luukkonen.
Somebody wrote that in, yeah.
Yeah.
I got backups.
Yeah.
All over
Luukkonen, 2 of the 3 highest paid goalies in the playoffs left
are on the bench.
Are not playing games.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And it speaks to the problems that teams have identifying the talent there, developing talent there, the problems managers have in paying the right guys, the right amount of money. It is a really hard thing to figure out, but it matters more than any other position in the sport. And I find it so amazing that it's still such a mystery to everyone. And it's not like I've got it figured out, but I feel and I'm as deep in it as it gets. But it's just it's magic. It's voodoo. It really, there's no words for the position. It's such an interesting thing. It's why I love it so much and why I love talking about it so much. It's just, you never know what you're going to get. And I think a lot of the reason you don't see guys get paid more is because you see those vast swings in performance.
Well, you got to hit it at the right time. Here's a great example. If Alex Lyon has 1 year left on his deal, if he was a UFA after this year, what's he getting? More than he makes now.
$4 million,
maybe.
Right.
Which is what does he make for the Sabres? Less than 2?
Yeah.
You got to hit that at the right moment.
And then you've got guys like Freddie Anderson, he's co-leading the NHL right now. Well, I haven't looked at the numbers since last night, but he has an 870 in the regular season, and he's at a 950 in the playoffs. That kind of vast swing is so regular and possible that it almost doesn't even make sense. For the same guy can perform so well and then followed up immediately with so bad.
There's also the commitment of this. For the Sabres, the total value of Lyon's contract is $3 million, and the total value of Luukkonen's is $23 million. It's not just about yearly commitment; it's about term. And the Sabres committed 5 years to Luukkonen because he had a good. Right? He had a good start.
Yeah.
And that thing goes through 2028. Here's Lyon. That's where, again, how do you make money as a goalie? You hit that contract at the right time. And for Luukkonen, he had a really strong stretch, was young, and the Sabres said, bank it, let's go. We like this.
Yep.
And he's not given them that consistency since then. But it's not like he's been bad. He's not a prohibitive contract.
No.
So, just interesting. Looking at all the goalies that are left and who raises the cup. I don't know.
It is crazy. And you look at the guys that have won cups. I mean, it's Aiden Hill and, Logan Thompson and all these guys that, you just wouldn't think of necessarily that just get it done. Darcy Kemper. Who's Darcy Kemper? He was good in Arizona for 3 years. And he won a cup. And it's just, it is really interesting.
Goals saved above expected per 60 minutes. Freddie, of the goalies that are left, Anderson, Carolina 1, Buffalo Lyon 2, Vladar 3, Dobesh 4.
Yep.
So there's your East.
Yeah. There it is. It's a scene, man. That position It does things to you. Let me tell you. It is a mental and physical grind. And that's why you see so many guys with such wild swings.
803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550 to join us. Bring on tomorrow.
I'm ready for this game.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this game to start now.
I got a couple, back to the Sea of Red and how many Montreal fans here. I got a couple of tweets from, I'm going to say old-timers here. They're probably my age. Just I didn't live here in the 90s, like 1998, 99.
Right.
That the Sabres, through the years, let me pull up this text that I got. In 99, Sabres beat the Leafs on the way to the finals. Been to series with maybe 5,000 people in the building, and it makes it better. Makes it louder, makes it sweeter. I do feel that in the regular season. You get a regular season game with 5,000 of the opposing team, and it sounds like a playoff game. So,
yeah.
I mean, if you get 4,000 fans of Montreal, whoever, if Carolina traveled like that, that means the rest of the fans feel a greater intensity to drown them out, be more active. And I can't think of a playoff game where I've felt this way, but it's definitely in the regular season, I appreciate Leaf games. I used to like going to Leaf games because they felt like they had more juice.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've been talking about I don't think it's going to be, a sea of red. I do think that whatever amount there will make it interesting.
It'll certainly be
and
loud.
will be fun.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any denying that. It'll be a good time for everybody in the crowd. Let's jaw at some Montreal fans. They think they're all hot stuff because they won a bunch of cups when there were 4 teams in the league. Let's party. Let's go. If there were 2 fan bases that can go, I think it's these 2 fan bases.
Yeah.
Truly, if you were to rank NHL fan bases, and if I remove myself out of being a Buffalo fan, born and raised,
this is where we're going to decide if we think they're on our level.
Right.
Right.
It's
granted,
let's show them.
As a team that had attendance dip to 9,000, 8,000, 7,000 because the team was so bad. It's fine. But who do we think is okay? Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver. We're going to all the Canadian teams. Winnipeg.
All the Canadians.
All 7.
Yep.
So who else? Do we give it
Chicago?
Chicago?
But even they have gone attendance down, but it's the same as the Sabres.
Do we give it to Philly? Yes.
I think yes.
I think yes.
I think yes.
Do we give it to Boston?
It's close for me.
Do we give it to the Rangers? The Islanders?
New York's too busy.
Who's passable? Who makes the grade? If we're going to be snobs, Carolina.
I don't think the New York teams can do it.
We're not giving it to Carolina, Edmonton, or
Florida.
Tampa,
absolutely not.
Are we all
Those teams, no.
Is it just because we're all bitter, and we all just wish it was us?
Probably a little. Truthfully,
we have gone through a grueling stretch of non-traditional hockey markets winning everything. The Cup has gone to, Tampa, Florida, Vegas,
Colorado.
Colorado's fine, I think. Denver's a hockey.
They like their hockey down there. That's true. I saw that first.
The Ducks, the Kings,
right?
If I have to go back 3 champions of how it meant a team that we would think it meant everything to them: Florida, Vegas, Colorado, Tampa. The Blues, the Capitals. I'd go back to Washington.
Capitals was huge.
Penguins, Chicago.
Penguins, I could give it to. Chicago,
sure.
Yeah. Those are all more classic sort of, this is our game places.
If it's Buffalo or Montreal. Here's your next question. Will you root for the winner of this series the rest of the way in the East?
It depends on how
it goes. If it's Montreal, Carolina, come on.
It's got to be Montreal.
I think it's got to be Montreal.
It has to
be. If it's Montreal, Philly, it won't be.
Yeah. I hate to admit this, but if I had to pick a second team in the whole league, it's Montreal.
Get out of here. Get them out.
I know. I'm sorry.
Not allowed to go to Montreal.
I hate it. Listen, not for the next 3 weeks. I hate them right now. Believe me. But I think that the history, the jerseys, the fans, the building, all of it is as cool as I think it can get. But I would probably, if they win, I don't know. I'd have to see how it feels after the Sabres get eliminated by a team for the first time in the playoffs since I've been sentient enough to care. Maybe that will change me. about that. Like, I could just be like, no, I hate them now. I'm sorry.
803-0550 to join us here on a Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It's going to be windy today. I thought about trying to golf outside today. It's May 5th. Maybe someday we can consider golfing outside regularly.
Be cool.
But the wind gusts today are going to hit 40 miles per hour.
Ugh.
I love to play golf when I have a free hour. I do not like to hit the ball in 40-mile-an-hour gusts. Not enjoyable. Yeah. 41.
Gross.
Yeah. Whatever.
Pretty big number if you get the tailwind, though.
Yes. Yes. Like the time we once thought you hit a ball 430 yards with a little bit of a tail at Gowanda.
That number gets bigger every time.
It does. It does. It gets bigger. Might not have been 430. Anyway, 803-0550 here on WGR. Benson starting to maybe get a reputation around the league as, a pest and a guy that's tough to play against. How did you think his playoffs went from game 1 through to game 6? Did you see growth? Were you pleased with what it was start to finish?
In a real hard series where, a lot of the play was just inside the offensive zone or a lot of the plays were forecheck type plays where we had to make sure we got pucks in behind them. They pretty well had numbers back every time. His forecheck pressure and his relentless effort on the puck were the type of chances that we were going to get inside the game. And from the top of the circle down, himself, Doan, they're probably two of our best at hunting pucks, staying on pucks, creating turnovers. And, I thought as the series went on, and we realized how hard this was going to get from the top of the circles down. Our lines, from our net front presence, you look at the Samuelson goal where you can't see the goaltender, and it is just a seeing eye dog. Our guys bought into getting around net front, making sure the goalie can't see the number of shots that we need to take to end up scoring goals. But in Benson's front, the start of the series to the end for a guy with no experience and as young as he was, I thought there was tremendous growth.
We got some time here on the Bills because Sal's rolling through his series, state of the roster. And today at WGR, it's wide receiver. But, Sal, we didn't talk yesterday, so let's do running back first because you had running back as state of the Bills, running back James Cook, of course, led the league in rushing. And where the rest of the roster looks like, what it looks like at the running back position. It might have been the quietest offseason ever for running back for this team because, what changes were made is the biggest news that there was a fullback added last week.
Yeah, and I actually touch on the fullback. We can talk about both those positions because I included them both in my article. I think last year was also pretty quiet for running back because, they had drafted Ray Davis the year before that. Although I think Ty Johnson came back last year in a free agent contract, but they really didn't do anything other than that.
Yeah.
And then, I guess I shouldn't say that because James Cook had his.
That's right.
That was loud, but they didn't make any additions, right?
His hold.
And we thought that maybe, right? We thought, could they move on from him? But either way, you're right, Jeremy. I think the Bills feel very, very, very good about their running back room, and why wouldn't they? Right? They have the league's leading rusher. First player to do it in this uniform since O.J. Simpson, which is incredible. And James Cook carried the ball 309 times last year. I mean, I still think about no one saw that coming. Who saw James Cook carrying the ball over 300 times at his size, paying him that much money on a longer term deal, I guess, 4-year extension? I certainly didn't. I did not think that would happen. So, I mean, good for James Cook to be able to do what he was able to do last year. And I think that, you go into this year thinking, why not? Why not repeat something like that? I mean, the question might be, and this is not a running back question, it might be just more of a philosophical question, how much they want to lean on that versus throwing and Josh Allen and all that, but we'll sort that out as the year goes on. But there's clearly, when you do state of the running back, there's clearly a pecking order. We know who the top guy is. It's James Cook.
Yeah.
The question after him is, does Ty Johnson or Ray Davis become more of the number 2 guy? Because last year it kind of shifted. Ray Davis went from 127 carries to 58. You know, I mean, does that say the same? Does he get more of a workload? What were the reasons for that? Kick returner becomes the best in the league at it. He becomes an all-pro kick returner. Ty Johnson's a third down back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ray Davis get more carries this year, but maybe this is the plan again this year, where it's more the Ty Johnson show behind James Cook than it is Ray Davis. So it's really interesting how this could shake out.
Trying to get away. Bugner ties him up. Knocked it over the line to Barnes with a shot. He scores! Absolute bullet from Stu Barnes. And that bullets Buffalo back in the lead in the series. Storming from behind a 2-0 deficit and assuming a 3-2 lead.
Classic RJ call there. Stu Barnes, May 5th, 2001. 25 years ago today. At Pittsburgh? Who's that against? I'm pulling up the highlight right now. I know the call. Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yep. Here in Buffalo. Overtime winner in Buffalo.
All-time call.
Yeah. Listen, the Bruins series only got one overtime game.
I know.
Like this Montreal series. Montreal just played how many one-goal games with Tampa?
Oh, it was like 3 or 4 in a row
of
were
the same
3-2
score
in overtime.
Yeah. Get ready for some tight games.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
we thought we were stressed in round 1. Like,
oh, it's gonna be so much more
It's
stressful.
gonna be so much worse.
Yeah, that's
here.
gonna be a problem. Like I said yesterday, round 1 felt like 14 years off my life. I don't understand how I'm gonna be able to handle this.
It's gonna be intense.
It's crazy. But it's exciting at the same time.
Will we see a double overtime game?
I would like to. Never see it in the Sabres anymore.
Uh-oh. He just spoke it into existence.
I did.
Oh, no.
Wait.
Come at
People won't be mad at you if the Sabres were trailing and then force overtime to go to double overtime, and then they have to win it also.
Right. So we have an avenue
But
out
even
of this.
suggesting overtime, people are going to get mad at you about that.
Yeah.
The Friday night game I wouldn't hate.
Yeah?
The weekend, going into the weekend, you get a big double overtime win. That'd be awesome.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bars open late. Let's go.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Party
What's
after.
the ideal?
The ideal what?
Ideal game. Like what's the perfect game against this team? Like what's the score and like how does it go? Like for not just, comfort.
10-0.
But
yeah.
All right, maybe it was a dumb question then. I'm just thinking about, like, would it be fun to have the shootout, or would it be fun to have the, like...
Oh, man. Ottawa 7-6.
Scrappy.
How about one of those?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
There are plays that are going to be made that are going to blow our socks off in this series. It's going to be awesome.
More dangling, you think?
Oh.
More passing?
Some saucy dangles.
Cole Hudson. I mean, we're not Cole Hudson. Lane Hudson. And... Suzuki, all those guys, like uber skilled, mega talented. Man.
Tomorrow. 803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550 if you'd like to pop in and join us. A couple of NFL things. The Steelers are still waiting for Aaron Rodgers. Like, okay, whatever.
Reportedly, patience wearing thin.
The good news is that we are getting fewer updates on it as opposed to years past.
It's true.
Right? Like, now it feels like the sports media is like, whatever, who cares, man? When you announce it, we'll be like, okay.
We're done with you.
Really
now.
happy
We're
for
done
you.
playing with this toy.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Darkness Retreat was the biggest news of the entire offseason like 2 years ago. I remember that.
He's not weekly going on McAfee or anything like that. So
no, not anymore.
No, they put a stop to that business.
Meanwhile, we talked a lot about the Spit and Chicklets podcast and those guys, Ryan Whitney and Paul Bizinet. You see Biz talk about the Chayka thing?
Mm-hmm.
That because of Shane Doan's thumbs down, that Biz says he's out.
I know.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Not going to support the team.
No.
Shane Doan says no, I say no. And I think, like, man.
And by the way,
that'll be really tested if they start out with a couple of good moves and they're just good after 30 games.
Right. Like, what, are you going to come crawling back then?
I don't know. Like, the idea of abandoning your team for good, or saying, like, I won't watch while so-and-so is in charge, or I won't watch while this player's on the team. It's a pretty rough spot to get to.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people might have gotten there about this Sabres team over the years.
Sure.
But, man, it's tough.
It is.
What if they win the lottery? Then what? Like, oh, okay. Gavin McKenna.
The defenseman that plays at Nodak or wherever he is right now.
Yeah.
The Doan thing, by the way, like the reason Doan doesn't like him is because at the end of Doan's career, he was in Arizona and playing, and he was always a great player, always. But I think Chayka decided like it's time to move on, and I just think that didn't go over well. I think Doan wanted to play another year, and Chayka said no, and that sort of broke that relationship. But I understand why that would be a thing that would upset someone personally. But is that not the kind of decision that you want GMs making? Is like hard, impersonal decisions about roster construction and the future of your team? Is that not the kind of thing that maybe could be encouraging for a team that has been where the Leafs are now? I don't know. It feels like the old boys club is really having a hard time with all the analytics buzz that's happening this offseason. Because it's happening everywhere. It's Toronto, it's Nashville, it's New Jersey. They just hired Sonny Mehta, who's like a poker player.
I always now feel like this conversation is just fresh meat for content, because every one of these teams engages in advanced stuff and they want to pretend that they don't. You ever get asked about your advanced data as a personnel person in any sport, you are required to say, yeah, but at the end of the day, it takes a keen eye, because you have to insist on why you still have the job and you can't just be replaced by AI running the systems, which like I get it. One quick thing on Shane Doan. I forget why I brought this up the first time. Have you ever seen his jersey retirement ceremony?
No, I'm not.
No.
Okay.
Am I supposed to have?
You're not really supposed to have. I came across it once. It might have been like I left the television on and NHL Network rolls in. And there's Shane Doan's jersey retirement ceremony, which happened in Arizona, of course. Like, not surprising, right? And as the case, they always do this in these ceremonies. They give the guy a truck or a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might have given him some sort of like golf cart, like an ATV golf cart. But anyway, that's not the story. The headline of the Shane Doan jersey retirement ceremony is that if you go to YouTube to watch this, it is 1 hour and 29 minutes.
Whoa.
On the ice in that arena. 1 hour and 29 minutes. Show up early for the retire.
Post game? Did they wait for that one? Like,
I think it's pregame.
Man,
Bettman was there. Bettman spoke there. It's 2019.
19. Is this before they moved out of their old arena?
It was in the Gila River Arena.
Okay. So this, you know what this is?
Like a goodbye to the.
This is we're trying to keep this team alive, and this legend is leaving, and we've got to make it a big deal.
An hour and 30 minutes.
Wow. I mean, good for him. He's a legend.
Sure,
he truly is a legend.
He's a great player.
He's
a great player. But an hour and 30 minutes.
Just sitting.
Hey, there's a game tonight at 7. What time should I get there? Get here at 5.
Should ask Josh
for the
about
ceremony.
It. I bet he was there.
Oh, I think he was there. Yeah.
So we should ask Josh. Hey,
I think Josh might have been wearing the old Winnipeg Jets jersey.
That might be right.
An hour and 30 minutes. It's crazy. Yeah. Family, former teammates, Arizona sports legends, all there. Pre-game ceremony before they played the Jets. There you go. They played Winnipeg. Number 19 to the rafters.
Pre-game.
His parents were there, his wife, his children, Gary Bettman, Jeremy Roenick, Teppo Numminen, Larry Fitzgerald, Luis Gonzalez, all the Arizona legends. Anyway, 803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550. Saw a lot of tributes to John Sterling yesterday, passed away at the age of 87. A lot of great moments. The Mets announcer paid tribute with the Mets win on the radio. That was cool. So, Yankee fans, tough loss for him.
Indeed.
It's 36 years.
Yeah.
It's a long run.
They changed the uniform up a little bit. They had the JS on the back of the hats, too, the Yankees.
Oh, nice. That's a good touch.
Yeah.
That's good.
803-0550. Multiple overtime. The last multi-overtime game for the Sabres.
Ooh.
The Rangers in 06-07. Was Leno, that wasn't a double overtime game, right?
I don't think so. This is all based on clips I've seen, so I don't have the direct memory to feel that confident about it.
Yeah, there's the 4 overtime game. Hasek 1-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
But double overtime, Sabres playoff overtime history is where I'm going to find this.
Yeah. The last multi-overtime win, I think, is the 07 Eastern Conference semifinals, from what I'm seeing. Triple overtime. Afinogenov scored the game winner against the Rangers.
That's a single overtime.
That was
Game 5.
Was it?
Yeah, that's just overtime.
Oh, okay.
Regular. They lost the game to the Rangers in double overtime. But how many multiple overtime games in history do they have?
I've got one in Philly in my head, but I don't know that has to be right.
Philly, what year?
I can't remember. Again, this is all memory just based on seeing clips of stuff.
Sure,
because
it's not. I got the Sabres 71 overtime playoff games in history. We're talking about them like ahead of time. Like there might be one in Montreal somewhere in this Montreal series, but trying to find like multiple historical overtime games, I'm striking out more than I thought I would. I'm going to spend this break trying to find it. And we'll get back to you. 803-0550. Extended Sports coming up here on WGR. Benson starting to maybe get a reputation around the league as, a pest and a guy that's tough to play against. How did you think his playoffs went from game 1 through to game 6? Did you see growth? Were you pleased with what it was start to finish?
In a real hard series where, a lot of the play was just inside the offensive zone or a lot of the plays were forecheck type plays where we had to make sure we got pucks in behind them. They pretty well had numbers back every time. His forecheck pressure and his relentless effort on the puck were the type of chances that we were going to get inside the game. And from the top of the circle down, himself, Doan, they're probably two of our best at hunting pucks, staying on pucks, creating turnovers. And, I thought as the series went on and we realized how hard this was going to get from the top of the circles down, our lines, from our net front presence, you look at the Samuelson goal where you can't see the goaltender. And it is just a seeing eye dog. Our guys bought into getting around net front, making sure the goalie can't see the number of shots that we need to take to end up scoring goals. But in Benson's front, the start of the series to the end, for a guy with no experience and as young as he was, I thought there was tremendous growth.
It was a fast start, which of course is important, but to me, Boston starts to push back there. And, over the course of a long season, do you feel like this team has gained a lot of experience in moments like that?
For sure. I think we've always talked about, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And the start of the third period got a little bit uncomfortable. We weren't handling the puck really well. I felt we were dealing with a little bit of nerves. That little bit of feeling we got a 2-1 lead. We're 20 minutes away here. But you still have to play. You still have to stay on your toes. We dealt with their push okay, and I think part of that push was self-inflicted by the way we handled the puck. We got through it. I think the Benson goal is a goal that I think I'll remember forever because of the work that went into that goal and the effort to get down ice, take the hit, make the play. Everything about that goal was about our season, about how hard you have to work and don't quit on a play, whether it's forechecking, whether it's back checking. You never know what will end up being the difference in the game. And that play was at that time when we weren't generating much. We were getting outshot. The effort on that play was something that, I thought it pushed us to a place where, now we got Boston where we need him. And I thought the last 13 minutes after that was a clinic.
Yeah. All right. Hi, everybody. We're saying hello and also probably goodbye. Give me this football schedule. That's what I'll take. Give me the football schedule. As soon as humanly possible. Or maybe like another, I don't know, a drone shot of the arena. It's funny, like, the Sabres are here to distract us from everything else. I'd like for the next 24 hours to be distracted from the discourse about Montreal taking over. So, hey, Bills, cut somebody or sign somebody. You know, Jadeveon and Clowney, just sign him.
I like that plan.
That'd be cool.
Just so we can stop talking about the Montreal fans that are invading the chat, invading everything.
Oh, yeah.
The chat is an interesting place right now.
Sure
when
is.
it not? But right now specifically,
Right,
yes.
right. Hey. What else going on?
Not much.
The drum banger draft. We get our next drum banger tomorrow.
Oh,
that's big.
We're gonna run some waivers tomorrow before.
We might have to run waivers. We might. I mean,
we got to get Sneaky Joe's. We got to figure something out there because I feel like we've run so many waiver pickups that he hasn't. I mean, he hasn't been here.
his
but he hasn't
team
had
is
the
pretty
opportunity.
solid. His team is still Brad May, Thurman, Ryan Whitney. He's going to want to drop him.
Yeah.
I mean, after that chugging experiment, Spencer Brown and Johnny Resnick. That's what he's got. You know,
Okay.
it's not bad. Not a bad group. Owen feels like. I mean, Owen's got to feel like he's going to get one.
I got you.
Pominville, Hasek, Danny Gare, LaFontaine, Skylar Bell.
Gotta get one.
Skylar Bell.
It's gotta be somebody that shows up.
Somebody. I just think
Pominville.
It should be Pominville game
It's
one.
gotta be Pominville.
It should be Pominville.
Could it be whoever they had planned for
Game-
the Blade Gang game?
Very possible.
Like
the
they
Blade
bumped
Gang,
them?
the Blade Gang getting in there for an impromptu drum banging was either all right, let's push somebody later, or someone's flight didn't get in. Call the Blade Gang. Did you see the story of? Might have been Spittin' Chicklets telling the story about the Blade Gang getting to bang the drum. That the call went to them like, "Hey, we want you to come bang the drum." Like, well, it has to be all of us. We're not going to only do it like 2 of us or 4 of us. And the Sabres said no. And then 20 minutes later, the Sabres called back and like, "All right, fine."
That's awesome.
Alex Tuck should hire the Blade Gang to be his agent. You know?
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
They drive a hard bargain. Where we go one, yeah, whatever. They're going all together. I think they're probably done banging the drum, but they're definitely not done making appearances.
No, I would not expect that to be the case at all.
Yeah. Anybody want to try on a Zach Benson next contract projection?
Oh.
Anybody want to do that?
7 by 7.
$7 million? The Doan deal?
Yeah.
He's not going to score as much as Doan.
But
right?
he's going to make as big an impact, I think.
Yeah.
He's going to be a rat.
I'd sign up for 7 by 7 right now.
That's a big number.
I don't care.
Should he want that, or should he? I mean, geez, he's making less than $1 million.
He should. I don't know. It probably depends.
He's an RFA, and you know, for Doan, when they got him, he's 24. Benson's 20. Like, Doan's off his entry level deal right into 6.9 per year. So you could see that for Benson.
Yeah.
You have to find some room. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. It's going to be windy out there. Enjoy your Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Pre-game coverage. Paul will join us. We'll do a little Bills. Joe Marino, Locked On Bills podcast. Talk to him. He's starting to really lean into the idea that the IGB pick, Davison Igbinosun, is not what the Bills are saying. It's not just depth. That there really might be a job opening on the outside. So we'll pick his brain about that a little bit. It's coming up tomorrow. Enjoy the day. Go Sabres.